From Darling Stadium in Hampton, WHCS Cable Channel 46 presents Peninsula District Football, the Phoebus Phantoms and the Bethel Bruins. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to Darling Stadium for this crosstown battle between the Phoebus Phantoms at 5-1 and the Bethel Bruins at 3-2. And Bob, this is, of course, always a good game anytime you got the two city schools playing each other. We got two teams, though, that are having different kind of seasons. Phoebus has been dominant. Take away the Heritage game, they've blown away everybody they've played. Bethel, on the other hand, young team, Tracy Parker's team coming along, looking real good, 3-2. They're doing a good job.
Well, he really is, Tim, and I'm real surprised at as well as he is doing, because when you get a new coach that comes in and he's got a new system, offense and defense, you're going to get some changes that the kids are going to take a while to adapt to. But what happens with the Bruin team is they've got not only some smart kids, but some kids that are athletically can pick these things up pretty quick. Now, Tracy said that, the offense isn't doing as well as he wanted to. You and I are real high on Ananias Boyd. This young man runs the ball. He gets to the hole quick. He does a good job. So defensively, the Bruins have done real well. This is a big night for them. This is a homecoming night. You want to beat a crosstown rival in Phoebus.
Well, and you talked about Boyd, and I was going to pick out a couple of players to talk about. You got Ananias Boyd, who really has been the shining star. Win or lose, when Bethel's played this year, he has still played well regardless, even in the losses, and that's not always the case, But on the other side here, you got Phoebus, you got Leon Mizell, who's doing a great job at quarterback, Jason Fan leading the defense, and you got this kid McWright, who, the sophomore, this little guy, who I love to see the little guys do this kind of thing. This kid is exciting.
Yeah, he really is. But let's go back a moment to Leon Mizell. He's banged up a little bit. And I asked Coach, I said, well, Bill, who's his backup? He says the JV quarterback. He said he's a good kid, but I don't know what he would do in a varsity situation. Jason Fan's been hurt. He didn't play last week. He's not going to play this week. Hopefully he'll be back the following week. But the McWright kid, love him. You don't have to give him just a small space, and he's going to get through it. He has learned from JVs to varsity. When he was at JVs, if there was that much space, he'd bounce outside. But he's found out that at the varsity, they're going to hold their blocks a little longer, and they're going to let him pop through there. And he has learned that and has really expanded. And they're real high on Xavier Debe. Had a great game last week at defensive end, and he'll play a lot tonight at defensive end. They thought they'd have a lot more out of him this year, but he was hurt in the preseason and early games. He was not 100%, but he is coming along. Bill is building a great team. He's got some young sophomores that are starting. He's got a JV team is undefeated, so he's kind of excited for the upcoming three more years.
Well, we don't want to let the cat out of the bag. In fact, let's go back in time, as Bob had a chance to talk with head coach Bill D of the Phoebus Phantoms a little earlier.
I have Bill D with me, the coach of the Phantoms. And Bill, we were talking earlier today, and you were real high on some young people who have really stepped up and are doing some good things. I'm talking about a couple of sophomores that you mentioned and a freshman.
Well, Jason Fan got injured 2 weeks ago. He didn't play last week, and he's not going to be able to play tonight. And Floyd Braxton has stepped in at offensive guard. He's a sophomore and has done a really good job for us on defensive side. Mike Littlejohn, who's been playing a lot, but now he's got to play a little bit more. And Jeremy Blunt, who's when we moved Jason inside, has been playing 5-tech for us. So and a name that is familiar to Phoebus Phantom fans, a DB, but this is Xavier DB, came in last week. I thought he did an exceptional job. Had a couple sacks, and I think he's coming around to the point where he's ready to play a lot more.
Well, we're also talking not only that you got a young team, but you got a JV team that's undefeated.
Yeah.
Beat Denby last week, which was the only other undefeated team, and beat them quite handily.
Yeah, Coach Johnson's done a great job with our JVs, and they're our feeder program. And considering we have so many sophomores on the varsity, and that we still have enough kids on those young kids down on the JV to still play well is nice. And so the future looks good. We have some really good kids. The work habits are excellent, and we just hope we could keep things going.
Well, listen, good luck teaching that, Coach.
I appreciate it.
Good enough.
Well, Bill D may have a young team, may have sophomores, may have a quarterback that's shaken up, but one thing that Bill D's teams always seem to have is a very sturdy defense. So even if you've got a couple of guys out, his defense is probably going to be called upon, and they usually do the job.
Well, you know, his defensive coach, Greg Navard, has just done an outstanding job. And then if you look at the successes of the teams on the peninsula, it's usually because you're not only good defense, but you look at your coaching staff, and it's been with you for a while. And Bill D's coaching staff has been with him for a while. Tracy just put his together. So this is his first year. They're learning each other. So you not only have to teach the youngsters, but the coach has got to learn what it is you want as a head coach. And that takes time. So, you know, the longer you get together, like somebody I know, you know, you and I have been doing this for 19 years.
This is our 20th year.
Yeah, this is our 20th. See how time flies when you're having fun? But, you know, again, you get a feel of what the head coach wants, what the head man wants. We know what Scotty wants. So, you know, we give it to him. Sometimes he's not always happy about it, but that's happened.
That's another story for another time. All right, we're going to go back in time again. Bob had a chance a little earlier to talk with head coach Tracy Parker of the Bethel Bruins.
I got Tracy Parker, the head coach of the Bruins. And Tracy, your season's been kind of an up and down season, but you've won some games. You got some young kids that are learning your system. If you were to evaluate the program, it's going where you want it to go now?
Definitely. I feel like we're going in the right direction, and things are just going to get better for us.
Well, you know, you've got some young kids, and I look at you got one sophomore that's playing linebacker, the Jason kid. The Wood kid. Justin, I believe it is, had a good game when we did the Woodside game. I thought he had an outstanding game of defense, and you've got some kids that are stepping up. Defensively, you're playing well.
Yeah, I think we're playing well defensively. We've got a group of young kids that are stepping up and playing well for us, and I just hope it continues.
Well, tell me a little bit about the offense. What do you got to do to get that offense a shot in the arm?
Well, offense always takes a little longer than defense. You know, there's a little more to it.
Right.
I think we're going in the right direction. You know, guys are finally making the plays that we need to make on offense.
Well, good. Well, listen, good luck to you now. I know this is homecoming. It'll be a nice win for you.
Definitely.
There you go. Okay, let's go back and stay tuned for tonight's starting lineups.
Back here at Darling Stadium, Tim Cole with Bob Hintz as the two teams are meeting at the center of the
Mr. Lee,
field.
Mr. Holloway, and Mr. Streeter. Go ahead and shake hands, guys.
We'll go ahead and have the toss of the coin.
Okay, guys, we're here to play football. If you have a problem, bring it to one of the officials, and we'll fix it for you. Let me introduce your other officials. We have Mr. Herndon, Mr. Sparrow, Mr. Webster, Mr. Chisman, and Mr. Clemensick. Okay, we had the coin toss earlier, and I'm going to tell everybody now that Phoebus won the toss, and they deferred to the second half. Okay, Bethel, you're going to receive that way, so you put your backs to that goal. You guys come up around this way, and I'm going to tell everybody for the first half, Bethel will receive on this side. Okay, gentlemen, shake hands and let's play football.
All right, we thank Gary Roby for his allowing us to have him on the mic tonight. He is our referee. The other officials you heard, Dan Clemensick is the umpire. The linesman is Tom Chisman. Frank Herndon, the line judge. The field judge is George Webster, and Ray Sperrier is the back judge. Tonight's game is brought to you through the sponsorship of the following: Zoom Sitco with 5 Hampton locations.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. By your Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. And in part by Wood Funeral Home, where Richard Pulley is the funeral director. And in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling, 825-1416. They answer the phone. Catchy little phrase there.
Yes, they do. They do answer the phone.
Well, of course they do. If you call them, they better answer the phone.
Yeah, they're not one of these people just sit around. They're out there helping you.
All right, we're about set to go. The Phantoms, as you heard, have won the toss and have deferred to the second half. So they will, in fact, kick off, and they'll have Well, while we were down in the field, Bob, doing the pregame shows, there was a substantial breeze going from right to left, or in this case, into the faces of the Bethel Bruins.
But if you look at the flags on the uprights on the goalpost, Tim, they're not hardly moving. And it was earlier, it was windy. So we'll see what happens here.
We may have to ask our director to turn my mic up a little bit, because in order to hear myself, you're blowing me out of the chair here.
Oh, well, good. I've always wanted to blow you out.
Well, it worked. Short kick taken at the 24-yard line and fumbled, and the Phantoms pounce on the ball, and I believe they have it.
They did that.
They do. So on the opening kickoff, the Bruins have fumbled the football.
And that's Joel that got the rebound. Number 2, I'm sorry, rebound.
Here's the replay. You're going to see the ball just stripped and jumped upon. That is Jamar Joel. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So the Phantoms gamble, if you want to call it a gamble, of kicking off rather than receiving, having won the toss, pays off as they will start from the Bruin 25-yard line. Mizell hands off in the backfield. That's Joe Lewis. And the Phantoms on offense. Mizell, the quarterback. The fullback is Lewis. McCrite is the tailback. The flanker is Ellis. Shanks is the split end. The tight end is Taylor. The center is Pavlik. Braxton and Blackley are the guards. Page and Edmonds are the tackles for Bill D.
Good move on first down, Tim. Right up the middle. They're going to try to control that line of scrimmage, the Phantoms are.
Picked up almost 5. Second down and 5. Right up the middle once again, and very close to a first down, depending on the mark.
Well, we'll ask you to use your eagle eye, but I think he's short.
I haven't seen the mark yet, but it would appear to be, and that's an easy one. It's about a half a yard shy of the first down. They need to get to the 15 in order to get the first down. Here's your defense.
Defense, we got Solomon and Lee on the linemen. The ends are Boone and Watson. The outside linebackers, Wood and Hobson. And we'll give you the remainder of those. Oh, wow.
And who was that? That was the young man we talked about, McWright. Number 22, Travis McWright, right up the middle from 15 yards out. And the Phantoms have very quickly scored here in the first quarter. 10:48 left in a 12-minute quarter, and the Bruins have found themselves down by 6 just that quickly.
Man, I tell you, it happened so quick, but that was a great strip of the ball that the Phantoms did on that opening kickoff.
Officially 16 yards. Paul Pavlik on to try the extra point. His kick is up, and it is good. So just that quickly, the Phantoms capitalize on the Bruin turnover. They march in 25 yards. Here's your replay of the touchdown.
And look how he just popped right through there, Tim, and this quickness that he's got, that this is what the coaches were talking about. He's got quick feet, but he gets to the hole. It doesn't have to be a big hole, and he's through it.
Well, you very appropriately talked about that in the pregame show. We got a penalty on the extra point try, I believe. Let's see if we can pick up what happened exactly, but your explanation of it was perfect. Let's listen to Gary Roby.
We have a personal foul, roughing the kicker on the receiving team. Foul will be marked on the kickoff.
So I don't know that a lot of the fans in the stands are aware of that penalty, because you and I were made aware of it by Scotty picking it up and then listening to Gary Roby, the referee, tell us. So the Phantoms will benefit 15 yards.
That's why Scotty gets the big bucks.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's why he could pick things up like that.
So you'll see momentarily in your picture, the ball will be marked on the Bruin 45-yard line as a result of the roughing the kicker infraction. So Paul Pavlik will tee it up, and with that wind behind him, shouldn't have too much trouble, should he choose to put it through the end zone.
You're right, Tim, but there's one thing that will really hurt the Bruins, and it's hurt them all year long, has been turnovers.
So Pavlik does exactly what we suggested he might. He buries the ball out of the end zone, and that is an automatic touchback, brings the ball out to the 20. So the Bruins will get an opportunity now for their team to go on offense. We'll give you the offensive and defensive alignments in just a moment. Bruins 3-2 on the season. The Phantoms 5-1, rebounding from that Heritage defeat.
Look what the Bruins are doing, Tim. They're putting out 4 wide receivers, nobody in the backfield. Boom.
And this didn't pay off because the Phantoms, with no one to block them, sacked the quarterback. And here is the offensive lineup for the Bruins.
Joshua Lyles is a quarterback. Boyd and Stiles are the running backs. The wideouts are Kendrick and Leto. The tight end is Copley. Center is Johnson. The guards are Vines and Van. The tackles are Harrison and Solomon.
This time the play works as they pitch the ball to the near side. That is Ananias Boyd, and he gets all the way out across the 30-yard line. That will be enough for a first down for the Bruins.
Tim, that was a great move that time by using that. It's like an offensive a forward pass, but it's like a shuffle pass, if you will.
And we'll give you the defense for the Phantoms when we have the opportunity. But a first down at the 31-yard line picked up by Ananias Boyd. A 31-yard, what was the length of it? 18 yards on the gain. So Joshua Lyles over the center this time has the I formation, has the backfield, and this is Boyd once again, and he slips at the 34-yard line after picking up about 3. Now here are the Phantoms on defense. Tackles are Blackley and Blunt. Littlejohn and Lachlan are your ends. The linebackers are Pauling, Ellis, and Edmonds. The corners are Mizell, Sarkey, and Lewis. And the free safety is Maurice Shanks. Starters for Bill D's Phoebus Phantoms. Ball marked at the 34 of Bethel. Couple wide receivers to the left side. And again, the I formation in the backfield behind Lyles. The fake this time to Boyd. He's throwing downfield and a collision, and the ball caught by the Bruins. Contact made. And there's a flag. You cannot do that, young man. You cannot do that. He pointed the young man, and we won't elaborate on the fact that Copley made a fine catch, but now a unsportsmanlike penalty will be charged against the Bruins, and that will wipe out
Watch
that
the
big
catch.
game.
The defender for the Phantoms knew he had this
dead
ball.
Unsportsmanlike conduct here. Will be a first down.
Maurice Shanks knew he had that ball.
Well, the high school, and for those who may not be familiar with it, we want to just explain briefly that the situation is you do not do anything to in any way show up your opponent by actions on the field, taunting, and that could be construed as a taunting situation. It was relatively minor, and it was certainly not, here's the ball in your face.
It was a dead ball, unsportsmanlike foul. Here, it is first down.
But the referees are not going to allow you to do that. You can see it in the NFL. You can even watch it on Saturday afternoons, but you're not going to see it on Friday nights, and there will be a penalty flag thrown, and the players know that.
And that's not a bad rule at all.
No, it keeps that wolfing down, if you will. Lyles struggles to get away, but cannot, as he is stopped for a short loss at the 44-yard line. So the Bruins have a first down. They did get the first down at the 40 of Phoebus, but then the 15-yard assessment backs them up. So now after the short loss, let's call it second down and a long 10 for the Bruins.
Well, that was Michael Pauling, Tim, that got in on the stop that time, number 15, one of the linebackers.
Hey, be sure and check out your neighborhood Zooms. They have 5 convenient Hampton locations. Second down, and let's call it 10. Lyles drops back in the pocket over the middle and almost picked off. And then a little extra shove at the end. Could have drawn a penalty, but did not. That was unnecessary.
Well, that was number 10, had played quarterback for earlier, Jason Wood.
Right.
Was the almost reception. We got a celebrity up here in the press box with us tonight.
Bob Killen?
Yeah, but I'm talking about Councilman Ross Carney over to my right here. He's up checking out and he's going to see what, you figured your job was pretty easy, Tim. He can come out and take your job.
Well, I heard almost anyone can take my job. Here's your replay. There you saw the ball tipped a couple of times. And then, well, you didn't quite see it, but a little shove in the back at the end. I'm just teasing. Obviously, we were very glad to have Mr. Carney up here. High snap. Lyles had some trouble with it. Did finally corral it, but then he was sacked by number 79. That's Micah Littlejohn. And that'll bring up now a 4th down and long, and that'll bring on the kicking team for the Bethel Bruins.
Tom Gear is involved with the Boys and Girls Club of Hampton, and they are in the process of raising money to build a new gym. Your donations would be appreciated. If you have any questions, give Tom Gear a call at 827-8277.
Mark Jefferson back in deep punt formation for the Bruins. Gets a pretty good rush, but gets the kick away into the wind. Not a bad kick, and gets a good roll, and the ball is picked up and immediately taken down at the 37-yard line. I believe that was Shanks.
Yes, you're right.
Marie
That's
Shanks.
exactly who it was, Marie Shanks.
We're happy to have Wood Funeral Home again as our community supporter this year. Wood Funeral Home, where the funeral director is Richard Pulley. On staff are Bill Leggett and Bill White. Again, we appreciate the corporate support from the community here on Channel 46, bringing you the very best in high school football and basketball and softball
and
baseball and soccer. You name it, we'll broadcast it.
We'll broadcast it. If we get a crew together, we're there.
All right, from the 37-yard line, 7:54 left in the first quarter, and now the Phantoms, just before they start that offensive play, take a timeout. Give you a chance to mention about a player of the game thing tonight.
Right. So we will have a player of the game from each one of these teams tonight, and that player will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc., formerly Buckwalter's Engraving. They're located at Tab Square on Route 17. For all your engraving needs, give Jim a call at 596-8850. Dave Buckwalter is the owner. Dave is a graduate of Bethel High School. The shirt comes from Island Hardware and Sporting Goods, and they're located in Pocosin. And they can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms, plus screen printing. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner, and John Roberts is another graduate of the system. He was at Kickoff High School. In fact, I coached John over at Sims Junior High. It wasn't a middle school then. And that was when, you know, Ross had been teaching many years by then.
That was right after the Triassic period, right?
Right after the Triassic period. You got it.
All right, Phantom first down, 37-yard line. Mizell gives off in the backfield and pushing forward for about 3 yards. McWright, number 22, gets the call. And they mark his forward progress just shy of the 40-yard line. A pickup on the play of, let's call it, almost 3.
You're in good hands with the Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. Give them a call for your insurance needs at 827-1200. That's 827-1200.
Second down and about 7 for the Phantoms. Mizell in the flat. Maurice Shanks looking for a block and can't quite get away from the pursuit. Good pursuit that time by the Bruins. And
there was at least 4 or 5 Bruins around that, around the ball carrier Shanks that time.
And one of those was Brian Jordan, number 41. He was one of the first ones there. Watch the replay here. He's got a blocker, but they can't quite get the blocker there. And the first Bruin to actually slow him down was Mark Streeter, number 3. And then the finishing touches performed by Brian Jordan and stop him for a short gain. It brings up third down and about 2. This is McWright, and he has the first down across midfield at the Bruin 49-yard line.
Jim, there's such a small hole there that I couldn't hardly see it, but McWright can get to it. He can get through it before it closes. That's why he's so valuable to this team. And you look at the young man, Tim, he's 5'8", 155, but he's just a sophomore. And Bill had said during an interview he's got a couple other sophomores that have stepped up into starting positions, and that's Jeremy Blunt and Floyd Braxton are both just sophomores who had to step up into starting positions because of the injury to Jason Fan.
Again, McWright gets the call, and again he picks up about 4 yards. He has such wonderful acceleration. He gets out of the starting block so quickly that it's just a matter of you don't have to. You mentioned it very accurately. In high school, at the upper level, you hold your blocks a little longer. He was on the JV team, and they weren't holding the blocks quite as long, so he would, as you mentioned, would want to bounce outside.
Yeah.
But they hold the blocks, and this big offensive line for Bill D's team also makes some nice big holes, and with his quickness, it's just a great formula for success. Mizell holds the ball and considered the option play, but the Bruins on defense had that one played very well. And Justin Wood, number 44, among others, was there to stop that play.
Well, Justin was one of our players of the game last week, Tim, one of the games that you missed when they 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry. Playing real good, and he's just a sophomore playing that linebacker spot and does a great job. But it looked like the Bruins shot the gaps that time and they got inside, and it was that play looked almost doomed before it got started.
Brings up 3rd down and 7 for the Phantoms at the Bruin 46-yard line. Mizell on play action, has plenty of time, wants to throw, goes long, got some coverage downfield, and at the goal line, the incomplete pass intended for Marlon Ellis.
That thing was really, it was a little too high because the receiver had to almost adjust himself, and so as you watch here, and so the 2 defenders had a chance for it. So that was kind of like a jump ball situation.
And it was with double coverage from the Bruins. So now it brings up 4th down and 7. And this will bring on the kicking team for the Phantoms. Paul Pavlik, who does the extra points, will also do the punting here as he stands at his own 40-yard line. Nice looking kick, but again aided by some wind. And this one is fielded and returned to about the 20-yard line. That was Jason Wood who brings it back to the Bruin 20.
Now we get a chance, we'll show you the offensive starters for the Bruins. I don't know if we got through all of them or not. I don't think we did, but we get a chance to show them.
Sure we did.
Did we get through them?
Yeah.
Okay.
These short naps are just wonderful.
I tell you, where was I? I must have missed something.
Hampton Chevrolet is a locally owned business, and they strongly believe in supporting both the community and the schools. Hampton Chevrolet, 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. All right, the Bruins from their 21. Lyles, second man through, and still going out close to the 24-yard line. And again, Ananias Boyd is the ball carrier, and he is the workhorse. If he's healthy, he's going to get the ball about 80% of the time. Ball marked across the 24-yard line, so a pickup of about 3. Let's call it 2nd down and 7 as we hit the 4-minute and 12-second mark in the first quarter. Phoebus 7 and Bethel nothing. Phoebus scoring after the Bruins fumbled the opening kickoff. Lyles back, wants to throw and completes the pass at the 40 to the 45. And finally taken down at the 49-yard line, and late flags, and I think we'll see some extra yardage tacked on to the play.
I think we will too, Tim, but that was a great catch by number 24. Christopher Canaday just made a great move. Watch this after he gets the ball, Tim. Watch this move right there. Almost broke another tackle, but there's the late hit that comes in, and I think that's what the flag was called for.
Have a dead ball, personal foul. Here.
Well, you heard Gary Roby tell you that's exactly what it was. It was marginally late. I will say it was not a flagrant situation, but it was late. The player was down, and that, again, will cost you 15.
Well, and that kind of...
I thought he was going to...
Yeah, that's kind of a makeup from the one when Bruins were down about this territory and then got the 15-yarder for unsportsmanlike conduct. So,
but it was a good call. It was a late hit.
Yes, it was.
And they're going to protect that player on the ground every chance they can. All right, back to the action now. The Bruins on the ground still. This is number 36, DeLance Stiles, picking up some yardage. He is down to the 31-yard line, a gain of 4.
The Bruins are playing with a lot more confidence on offense than we've seen them play in the past, and that's good because that's going to make the Phoebus defense really keep their heads up and watch out what's going on.
Now we're getting into the real meat of the schedule now. We got this game tonight, which is a good one, and next week we have Hampton and Kickingham, and then a game we could probably expect to have a full house for. That'll be these Phoebus Phantoms and the Hampton Crabbers. Good pass completion Shanks prevents the touchdown. A late flag, however.
Yeah, no, this flag was thrown. I think we had an ineligible receiver downfield, Tim. It was thrown early.
Christopher Kennedy was the receiver, but a penalty flag on the play.
You got to be impressed with this young man for Bethel Lyles throwing the ball, Tim. Just looking good.
Holding on the defense.
Oh, Will, if you're Bruins, you're going to say, we'll take the play.
I would say so. First and goal at the 5-yard line. So the pass completion from Lyles to Kennedy is good for a first down and goal.
HCS has
Holding on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
I was going to tell you about HCS's new look with joint anchor Beth Sadler Monday through Friday at noon at 5 p.m. for all the news and information about the Hampton City Schools. That's HCS Reports.
All right, the Bruins now trying to tie this game up. Play action, want to go in the corner, and the receiver and the defender both slip in an effort to get back to the ball. That was Nick Lito, that number 80 that was out on the pattern, and he was being defended by Leon Mazzell, and Maurice Shanks was in the area as well.
Well, Tim, all fairness to the receivers, Joshua Lyles didn't get a whole lot on that ball, and I don't know if the wind held it up or not, but it really ended up short.
And I think the wind may have had a major factor. When you and I were down there, there's a good steady wind, if you will, lack of a better description, from breeze, but it is in the face of the Bruins and going in the direction where that pass was thrown. It would have held it up. The pitch flagged down on the play, and in the end zone is Ananias Boyd, but a penalty flag down.
I think I see the preliminary signal is holding, Tim, if I'm not mistaken.
And that would be offensive holding that you're referring to.
Watch the replay.
Flag went down almost immediately.
Yeah.
An illegal procedure.
Oh.
On the offense, only 6 on the line.
See, that's why I was surprised it might be holding, because quite frankly, the flag came out almost at the exact same time the ball was snapped, which wouldn't have.
Illegal procedure on the offense. We'll replay it 2.
So unfortunately, the Bruins.
Well, I'm 0 for 2. Did you notice that?
Yeah, you. That's okay.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm just going to let you know, because I knew you were going to bring it up, so I'm going to bring it up myself.
Not me. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, Scotty said this tonight. All right, Scotty.
All right, still goal to go. Second down at the 10. Lyles, and he is sacked all the way back to the 15.
But I tell you, that really hurts, because you're up there on about the 3-yard line, and now you're clear back to, what's that? It looks like about a 16 or 17.
So Lachlan on the sack, Maurice Lachlan for the Phoebus Phantoms, number 75. And now it's 3rd and goal, and they've been heading in the wrong direction, have the Bruins. And, you know, you just don't want to give momentum to this Phoebus Phantom defense, because they'll just eat you alive. So Joshua Lyles now with a wide receiver to the near side is Kennedy. And the pitch, and fumbled, and the ball recovered by the Phantoms. So the 1st and goal for the Bruins will be wasted as the Phantoms come up with the fumble recovery. And again, looks like Lachlan, number 75, might have been there to make the recovery.
Tim, 2 turnovers. Both of them have hurt him. Watch the replay.
Going to see the pitch here goes to Boyd, and it's behind him. He just never had a chance to make the grab of the ball.
But you got to get that ball, because that becomes a free ball when it's down there like that. WHCS Channel 46 presents your school board meetings live on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of each month at 7:30 p.m. So tune in and be informed.
So the Phantoms back on offense, leading 7-0. They give the ball to McWright, and he picks up about 5. 2nd down and 5, as we are down to 1:12 left in the first quarter. Phantoms 7 and the Bruins nothing. Phoebus trying to improve their 5-1 record. Inside handoff, and not much happening there as Joe Lewis is stacked up by the middle of that defensive line of the Bethel Bruins. Good job by the Bruin defense.
Well, they're going to have to do something to try to get this ball back because, Tim, I thought they were in great scoring position. In fact, I thought they'd get a score. But that 6 men on the line of scrimmage, you can have 8, you can have 9, but you've got to have at least 7 men on the line of scrimmage, and that really hurt them because that really brought back the score that they had.
Doesn't that go back to what we were talking about, a first-year coach with, installing his own systems and so forth, and some of the players just not being as familiar with the procedures as they should be, as Mizell now is chased out of bounds after picking up a couple of yards. That was Robert Boone, number 88, giving chase.
And you look downfield and you see all these open receivers and you're saying, and they're thinking, well, throw the ball. And Mizell is saying, I'm running for my life back here, fellas. I ain't got time to look downfield.
What's this throwing the ball? So Mizell is chased out of bounds short of the first down. It brings up 4th down and about 2.
Well, this is a good deal for the Bruins, Tim, to be able to stop the Phantoms and make them punt from deep in their own territory. Hopefully you'll get good field position.
This is Ananias Boyd fielding the ball at the 39. Cross midfield, he's got some running room, one man. He turns the corner at the 20 and still on his feet, and he'll score.
A nice run back by Ananias Boyd.
61 yards for Boyd.
Wow.
We've seen his incredible running ability throughout the season from his tailback position. Now he shows you what he does when he fields a punt.
Well, Tim, there was a small seam that he popped through right away, and as soon as he did, there was 2 people that could stop him. One was the punter, and I didn't catch the number of the other one, but neither one was able to stop him, and now we got the try for point after.
Number 53, Matt Andrews attempting the extra point.
So Matt Andrews will try the extra point out of Jason Wood's hold. So the Bruins, after doing the job on defense, tie the game at 7 with the spectacular 61-yard punt return by Ananias Boyd. And here is the replay of the Boyd return. You can see him fielded at the 39.
Now watch right here, boom. And he just made that seam.
Well, right here, I thought he was going to get tackled. That was just a bad attempt at tackling there, and Boyd just kind of leaped over the would-be tackler and into the end zone. What a great job by the Bruins. So the Tracy Parker Bruins are back in this ball game, and again, the defense did a great job, as you mentioned, of stopping the Phantoms after the turnover and forced them to punt, and then Boyd did the rest.
Well, and Tim, which is nice about it is you turned the ball over twice. Once it hurt you, the second time it didn't hurt you. So that's, that kind of helps morale, and being on the Bruins sideline, you can see that they're all fired up. The coaches are jumping around, they're hopping up and down, and they're just having a great feeling. And of course, being homecoming night doesn't hurt anything.
And that last play, the punt return, was the last play of the first quarter. So this kickoff will be the beginning of the second quarter. One would seem to follow the other, right?
Well, normally that's what happens.
Okay. Andrews will kick it off. Shanks will take it at the 7. Shanks is tripped up at the 22-yard line. Looked like he had a good head of steam, but the Bruins are fired up right now. Then you see some of the Bruin fans, the Cadillac.
Yeah.
What is the Cadillac? Do you know what that is? I know it's a car. See up on the screen there?
23-yard line.
I don't know.
Have no idea.
Well, we got them on TV. Their outfits worked.
Well, the outfits work, and they need to thank Ron ESPN Bait.
They are right now. They're waving at them and throwing money.
Well, wait a minute, fellas.
Or maybe that's not money they're throwing.
If that money hits you and it hurts, it may be a rock.
All right, the Phantoms now back on offense. And the call goes to McWright, who is getting more and more carries as his career progresses. See some of the fans in attendance here at beautiful Darling Stadium. We didn't talk much about the weather, but I want to talk to my good buddy Alonzo Cherry, who is engaged to Ann Stevens over at the Hampton, in the city of Hampton.
It was over at the Hampton School Board.
Yes. And Alonzo and I have a running joke because he knows how I feel about this kind of weather. And I told him that. I said, you know what today is going to be, don't you? And he says, no, what's that? I said, it's going to be a perfect day for football. And it is. The temperature at game time in the low to mid 60s. And other than that breeze going on there, no chance of rain. And Matt Braxton will be glad to hear that. Doesn't get any better than this. That's right. I got a whole list of my Larry's group. Larry's crew.
As Ricky, with it, don't take your hat off, Rick. He got the same. He goes same barber.
Same barber as I do.
Yeah.
Ball is marked just across the 30-yard line. It's 3rd down and 4.
John Johnson and Harrell are the other two gentlemen.
Well, the Bruins had some confusion on defense, and it didn't hurt them in the long run as they weren't sure they had the right number of players on the field. Number 73 was running to the sideline for fear that he was the 12th man. Then he realized, or someone realized at least, that he was not a 12th man, and he ran back on the field. And to their benefit, fortunately, the pass was incomplete. Well, and it brings up a kicking play.
Yeah, the pass was really behind Maurice Shanks. He had an opening there, but the ball was just thrown behind him, and he couldn't get to it.
So Pavlik will be on to kick. This time he will be kicking into the wind, and the ball travels pretty well considering that substantial breeze, and takes a nice Phoebus bounce and will be dead at the 32-yard line, where the Bruins will go back on offense. Hampton Chevrolet urges you to support the community by giving to the Peninsula United Way campaign. Hampton Chevrolet, 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton.
And let me tell you a little bit about Zooms, Tim. They are giving away the award to the senior football player on each of the teams this year who have demonstrated academic excellence. These players will be awarded a plaque at a school board meeting after the season. We want to thank David Allen and Zooms for their continuing support of WHCS and our student athletes. And I'm going to give you the two names of the two players from these two teams that will be receiving that award.
All right, and I'll tell you that Ryan Holloway gets the call for, I believe, the first time this evening, and he might have picked up maybe a yard.
Well, the Phoebus recipient of the academic award, excellence award, is Maurice Shanks, number 88, and the Bruin is Clifton Copley, and I think Clifton Copley is 89. So they're close to the, not only both getting an award, but they're close to having the same number.
Play at the same position. 2nd down and 9 for the Bruins. Lyles on the pitch. This is Boyd, and Boyd
Boyd's hard to break.
Oh, he is hard to break down. He picks his way along the sideline there, finally goes out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, or let's actually hold up and wait and see where they mark his inbounds progress. Let's say the 37-yard line, so makes it 3rd down and about 5 as he went out of bounds, stopping the clock with 9:49 left here in the first half, and we're all tied up at 7.
For all your printing needs, call Gear Up Printing at 1909 North Armstead Avenue. Call them at 827-8277.
So big 3rd down for the Bruins as they need to keep this drive alive here. They'd like nothing better than to keep the momentum going. Lyles on play action has some time. Now the pocket breaks down, and Lyles has one man to get around and has to step out of bounds close to the 1st down marker. But it looks from here that he'll be just a little short. He'll be about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards shy of the 1st down stick.
Do we have a flag on the play?
I believe we might. I see a couple of officials discussing something. Watch your replay here. Going to see Lyles have seemingly a lot of time here, and then all of a sudden can't find a receiver, and the Phantoms start to pursue him. And we've got a holding call.
Holding. Defense.
Well, if there's any doubt about the microphone working well for Gary Roby tonight, it's working clearly. And the defensive holding will give the Bruins a First down. Oh, I like it when it clears my sinuses like that. It really works well. Yeah, we brought him so far down. No, we're fine. Is he coming across as loud and clear on our coverage, Scotty? All right. Yeah, he's. Is that an auger or an ogre?
I'm not sure, but whatever will, it'll clear your sinuses.
Play action. Lyles throws, completes the pass at the 47, and then the Phantom defense is there for a short gain of maybe 2. Now, late flag comes down. So let's see how they call this one. And it looks like it might be against the Phantoms from their body language.
Well, when you see the Bruins clapping.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense.
So the Phantoms hurt themselves now with 2 consecutive major penalties.
Man, they sure are. All-state agents Robert Mann and James Hudson can handle all your insurance needs from the car to the home. Call them at 827-1200. They're located at 942 Big Bethel Road.
All right, now the Phantoms have called a timeout.
And I'm sure Bill Deves was going to talk to him. The fellas, you know, if we can stop them and then you give them 15 yards 2 consecutive times, that's not doing us any good.
And Bill D, you know, I mean, any coach, but Bill D particularly, who demands this kind of excellence from his players, will pull them over there. And that's what you do. You say, look, you got to settle down. You can't let your emotions take control of you. Oh, is that right? These are alumni of Bethel who are cheering tonight. So that's an interesting situation.
Well, very interesting.
But what I was going to say was that Bill probably pulled him over to the sideline now and said, okay, just what you said, Bob. We've played good defense, but now we have to play smart. We can't just give up 30 yards in penalties with silly plays.
Well, you really can't, Tim. You've got to be, you got to play smart and not give away yardage. Make them earn the yardage if they're going to get it. But that's 30 yards that they've given up on this one, and that's not counting the yards that they've given up prior to this. And I'm sure Bob's got the total yardage there, but this is really hurting the Phantoms.
All right. First down for the Bruins after the penalty. Running room left side, and the ball fumbled but out of bounds. It'll still belong to the Bethel Bruins as number 36, Delance Stiles, carries it all the way down to the 17-yard line. That'll be more than enough for a first down.
Tim, if you watch the replay, everybody from the Phantoms went inside, and there was no contain man outside to stop the Stiles that time.
Good call by the Bruins to catch the Phantoms in the wrong defense. So now we've got further discussion. Are we set? Okay, all right. Just a momentary stoppage by referee Roby. And the Bruins now looking to take the lead in this ball game. Stiles out of the shotgun. Nobody back protecting. He throws for the end zone, and it's incomplete, thrown out of bounds. His intended receiver was Leto.
Well, I tell you what, he better get rid of that thing, because if he didn't, he was going to, and we got another flag.
And it's a holding call, so the Bruins now guilty
Captain,
of a big penalty.
Captain, you want that 10 yards, right? Take him back 10, okay.
See, it's from the spot of the foul is the penalty.
We have a holding on the offense. Replay first down.
And Tim, the problem with putting 4 wide receivers out there and nobody to protect you is that quarterback is kind of sitting back there kind of protected.
Oh, he is. And, you know, the pros do it, but they've got these massive linemen that can, you know, hold their blocks a little longer. And hold is the operative word there. They get away with more of that.
Well, Tim, but also you'll also see in the pros that all the routes are timing routes. They throw the ball before the guy breaks. You're not going to find that very often in high school.
Yeah,
and on that last play, Lyles really threw the ball to the corner way before the receiver made the break, but he had to. He had no choice.
Hey, Mark and Kenny of Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. You're supposed to do that one, right?
Yeah, but that's second half.
Oh, okay.
Well, talk about them. You've already started.
You were talking about these graduates. I wanted to mention they're old Hampton High School graduates, aren't they?
Kickoff.
Close enough.
Nice.
Kickingham, Hampton.
Phoebus, Bethel, they're close. Scotty, you really need to get up here with that auger.
Anyway, I'll talk about the Stallion brothers in the second half. Lyles feeling the pressure, throws it up, and it is almost picked off as the closest man to it was 34, Joe Lewis. Pass was intended for Brandon Hill. As a former Hampton graduate, I would not confuse Hampton and Kickingham. I do want you to know.
Well, Tim, I tell you, we really missed you for a couple weeks ago.
You don't have as much fun when I'm not here.
You're right.
That's right. I bet they did talk about me too.
We didn't talk. Bob talked about you.
I heard Bob talk. Something about a pink slip. And
said, work on that golf game.
All right, I was down there sucking down those fresh trout, man. I'm telling you, that was a seafood feast.
I bet you guys had a good time, and I know Donna was glad that you went.
She was. The pitch. And Boyd is stopped shy of the 30-yard line, and the first down marker now. This is a huge penalty that was assessed. They need to get all the way down to the 8-yard line, and they're at the 31. So do the math here. You're looking at a substantial 23-yard pickup they need right now. You got a play in your playbook that's second down and 23. There you see the
scoreboard. Well, if you don't, call Mike Smith because he does. Well, how many times have we seen them third and 20 and longer and they pick it up?
Well, maybe Tracy Parker has it. Did they change the down marker yet?
No, it's third down. Yes, third down.
Third down and a mile. And now a flag. It'll make it third down and a longer mile because the delay of game will cost you 5.
Dead ball, delay game on the offense. Still playing 3.
Listen, after the game, make a trip to Zooms. Zooms is your friendly neighborhood store. 5 Hampton locations. They've got that Beantown coffee. They've got potato wedges, fried chicken, ham and cheese subs, and Citgo gas. Lyles throws it up in the end zone. Double coverage, contact, interception is made, and that will.
That's Shanks.
That'll be Shanks who picked it off.
Tim, he caught that ball falling down.
Yes, he did. But that was one of those things where the ball really was up for grabs, and with 2 defenders against 1 receiver, and Shanks being the taller of the 3 players, he came up with the pick.
And
he did the same thing last time we had Phoebus. Let's see if there was some contact. Bob seemed to think there might have been some pushing off before the ball got there.
Yeah, see, he was on his knees and had to leap for that ball from his knees to get it, but there was some contact, but incidental.
Just one of those judgment calls. So the Phantoms keep the game tied at 7 with the big defense. They had given up some yardage. This is McCright, and McCright has the first down across the 35-yard line. I started to say the Bruins had a first down at the Phoebus 17-yard line and then went backwards. Those penalties have really been hurting both teams.
Both teams tonight.
Bob mentioned it was 7 penalties so far, 9 penalties now, and you just can't, you can't sustain drives when you keep doing things like that. Phantoms first down at their 38. McCright to the near side, and the speedster cuts it back across the middle to the 45.
There wasn't even a hole there, and he found one.
Speed kills. That's all I can tell you.
I'll tell you what, it looks good when you see runners like him and Ananias Boyd being able to just get through an area that there's no way anybody else is going to get through there.
Well, you and I have also watched games this year, and this is one of the first times that there has not been any moisture on that field. We watched after Hurricane or Tropical Storm Dennis was here and after Floyd was here, and the fields were just soaked. And I walked out on the field tonight as we watched McCright pick up a first down at about the 49-yard line. But I walked out on the field and felt the ground and kicked it with my feet. And the field has great traction. So when you're
it really does.
So when you're quick like McCright and Boyd, then this is an excellent running track for you.
It's what's called a fast track.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first down is registered at the 49 of Phoebus.
I tell you, number 41, Brian Jordan, playing that one of those linebackers for the Bruins, is doing a great job. He's making a lot of tackles tonight.
McCright again into Bethel territory at about the 47. Prior to that carry, McWright had 10 carries for 69 yards, or almost 7 yards per carry. That should be almost 10 yards per carry, rather.
I was wondering.
No, 7.
You want to get my
7. I had it right the first time.
Well,
almost 7. 69 yards, 10 divided to carry your 2.
6.9 yards. Right?
Add 2 trout and 3 hush puppies, and that's what you got.
Oh, I bet those hush puppies were good down there.
I didn't eat any hush puppies. I fell in love with those trout. On the option, Mizell across the 45 to about the 44-yard line, and that'll bring up a very crucial 3rd down now with the clock moving and a little more than 6 minutes left here in the first half. Ball is marked just over the 45. They need to get to the 41, so this will be 3rd down, and let's call it almost 4, 3.5 to 4. Got an I formation, tight alignment, and the pitch, which was a lateral to Shanks, and Shanks will be very close to the first down. He did get the first down. They give him his forward progress to the 40. So that was kind of a I don't know what you'd call that pass, kind of a flare or a swing pass?
It's kind of a whiteout screen pass. See, he just comes back. It is a lateral, but see, he's supposed to cut back inside, but the defense are there, and he's not getting the blocks he needs to cut back against the grain. But that's the play that Heritage had real good success against the Bruins. Against the Crabbers, and that was the only success they had was that play.
McWright gets the call as the Bruins defense stops him, and the Phantoms continue to stay on the ground for the most part. But when you've got McWright and Joe Lewis running the ball, why not? 5:10 to go. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Phantoms have plenty of time, 5 minutes exactly remaining in the half. If you joined us late, the Phantoms recovered the opening kick fumble by the Bruins and drove 25 yards and made it a 7-0 game, and then the Bruins on a 61-yard punt return by Ananias Boyd have tied it up. Mizell feels some pressure, gets away along the sideline, throws, and incomplete as Joe Lewis had it trickle off his fingers at the 24-yard line.
And
now
we got
a late flag.
2 flags.
Got a couple of flags as boys will be boys on the near sideline apparently.
1 on each team.
And if that is the case, they'll just offset and we'll just continue to play. It'll be 3rd down. Let's see how they call this. We don't want to get premature. You could probably hear
We got a live ball on green and then a dead ball on white.
So it sounds like you had a
incomplete pass, right? Incomplete. Okay.
So I would assume, my assumption here is offsetting penalties.
What was the live ball? What was it dead?
We have illegal use of the hands on the defense. We have a dead ball, personal foul on the offense.
So in fact, they'll probably assess the penalties. They go up the field and down the field.
Well, see, because one will be make it a 1st down.
Right, exactly.
And then you come back, you're going to be 1st and 30, right? Or 1st and 25 or whatever.
Yes, I think that's how they'll do it. They'll actually mark off, because if they had both been dead ball fouls, they would offset each other, but just play the down there. So you got your illegal use of hands against the Bruins, which gives you the 1st down, and they'll mark the ball at about the almost the 30-yard line, and then they'll mark off the dead ball foul, which brings the ball back to the 43.
But they're not doing the chains right.
No, they're not. It should be. It is 1st and 10. Okay.
Well, he gave him 1st and 10 up there by the
that's why
32, and then they marked off 15 yards, and I don't know how they can.
And you're absolutely right. The ball should be 1st and 25.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, because the 1st down was registered, then a dead ball foul occurred, which means after the 1st down, you back them up by the penalty. But it didn't work out that way, and it's to the advantage of the Phantoms that they did it the way they did it. I think. Now, we may, I'm sure we would welcome anyone in the audience who is a referee or an official that could let us know we've made the wrong call on that. But the way I agree with you, Bob, the live ball foul gave the Phantoms the first down. You mark the first down, then
Which you did,
and then you mark the first down, move the chains, and then you assess a 15-yard penalty, which should make it 1st and 25.
Yeah, but they never moved the chains on the things.
McWright again gets the call. He is wrapped up after a short gain by big number 99. That's Marilyn Lee. All right, we'll return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of our first half after this brief timeout. Third down, pass far side, incomplete, intended for Maurice Shanks. Defending on the play was Mark Streeter, and the ball goes incomplete, stopping the clock with 3:08. There you see it on the scoreboard, 7-all. And it brings up 4th down for the Phantoms, and they have no appearance of doing anything but going for it. But now
They're going to talk about it.
They're going to discuss it as a timeout will be called by the Phantoms. So they'll talk it over. Bill D will pull his offense to the side, and Tracy Parker will bring his defense over. And this is a crucial play. Should the Phantoms be able to keep the drive alive, they would have a chance to score before halftime.
Yeah, really will. You know, the Bruins defense has been a little bit, but they haven't allowed an offensive touchdown on a drive. The touchdown they got was really, you know, it was one first down, and then McWright just popped through a seam, and he was in the end zone before anybody knew it. But I think the Bruins are playing better defense right now than they were early in the game.
I think they've, you know, the defense, and Tracy Parker talked about this, the defense is always easier to develop your continuity than it is the offense. The offense takes more timing, it takes more practice, it takes more.
And there's one other thing that's involved in that too, Tim. That's the third quarterback that they've used this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Started off with Jason Wood, and then they used another young man before Lyles. Who was that young man that got hurt? I'm trying to think who he was.
Mizell on 4th down swings it to McWright, and McWright is at the first down marker. It's going to be very close. I think from here it looks like he's gotten it.
What a nice job getting outside. And Maurice Shanks says, that looks like a first down for me. Watch the replay. Nice pass. If you're going to give it to somebody you want to give somebody out there that's got some speed and some moves.
Well, I think from here they made it by a good half a yard.
That's my man, Eagle Eye here.
Well, let's wait on the plaudits. Yeah, he got it by about a half a yard.
You the man. You the man.
I'm the man.
You may have left us 2 weekends ago, but you the man.
All right, the Phantoms on 4th down make the first down and keep this possession going now as we are inside of the 3-minute mark. And the Phantoms have just one timeout remaining, so that could be a factor as well.
That was a little throwback, but that's the first time we've seen that play tonight, and that's maybe one of the reasons it worked.
Flag down as McWright in the center of the line, but a penalty flag has been thrown.
Tim, there was no seam that time. I tell you, the Bruins have just really bunched up the center of that defense.
Referee Roby is going to come over to the near side and talk to the line judge. No indication yet as to the penalty.
No flag, I bet you.
That's the call. Well, you're one for 3.
hey, 1 for 2.
1 for 2. No, you were 0 for 2. Now you're 1 for 3.
Oh.
Right?
Well.
That's the same way you keep scoring goals.
Oh, you noticed that, right? Hey, always makes me look good.
All right. Short gain on the play. On the option, Mizell along the line of scrimmage, cuts it up and gets down to about the 28-yard line before the pursuit by the Bruins stops him.
He wanted to pitch it if he had a chance, but the Bruins just strung that play out there, and there was really no chance for him to pitch it to Travis McKnight, who was the trailer.
So that quickly, it becomes 3rd down and about 5 for the Phantoms. They need to get to the 23-yard line. Quick pass over the middle, and they complete it at the 19-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Bruins, for the Phantoms, rather.
And it looked like it was that. No, it was 87, big 87, Tim. That was Shaheed Harris.
Yeah, that was a quick look in, and he just popped it over there to the big tight end.
6'3", 270.
Yeah, I'm talking big here. 6'3".
Sophomore.
Yep. So a nice looking play there by the Phantoms, and Mizell keeps the drive going now. A minute and a half to go. McKnight, and good pursuit that time. What a great play by 54, Jonas Watson. He just really broke that play up before he had a chance to get going. That was a beautiful defensive effort by the Bruins. Now we approach the 1:10 mark with just the 1 timeout remaining for the Phantoms. 2nd down and 11 after a 1-yard loss. McKnight gets the call, tries the right side. He's stopped at the 18-yard line. We're less than a minute now. 3rd down and about 9.
Well, you know, they may just try to get it up and get it in position for a field goal attempt.
Or a quick shot to the end zone. You got Shanks on the near sideline over the middle. Shanks on the slant, and he is to the 10. That is not going to be enough for a first down. So, well, maybe it is. Now they gave him forward progress close enough to measure.
Well, if he went across the 10, he got the first down.
Watch the replay.
And that's just a slant pattern.
Yeah, Shanks, as I mentioned, split wide, and he got...
Oh, yeah, he was over the 10.
Well, they're going to bring the chains across because it's that close. He is clearly at about the 9-yard line, and I think that would be enough for a first down. It's hard to tell from here, but I'm going to say he made it. Nope, he didn't. Missed it by about half of a football. So it's 4th down.
Well, you're going to kick the field goal or what?
Well, let's see. Bill D is, he has 1 timeout remaining. He could use that here. Although what he may elect to do is now the clock is started. Still plenty of time. We're at 32 seconds.
Well, the clock will stop if you pick up the first down.
Exactly, and he still has that timeout. And Mizell goes off left tackle and clearly has the first down at about the 6-yard line. So a pickup of about 3. So good clock time management.
Really is. They're getting a lot of plays in a very short period of time, and they're ready to go.
And there it goes. The clock should restart, and now they spike the ball with 18 second went off the clock there, but the spike of the ball, because of a fresh set of downs, the Phantoms have more than enough downs to get it into the end zone. The only question might be is if they have enough time. So the referee is talking to Shanks. So the clock now with no movement, 18 seconds, 1 timeout left. And yeah, the obvious safe choice, Bob, would have been to try that field goal, but looks like the Phantoms want to try for more. They throw at the end zone. No, it's batted down on a nice defensive effort by Nick Leto.
Well, number 21, Brian Stanley, was wide open in the end zone, but Mizell had his receiver that he was going to throw to, and that's the one he locked in on. Tim watched this the play, but what's neat about what they're doing is if they're going to the end zone to see the man in the back of the end zone was wide open, but what they're doing is they've saved the timeout. So if they catch the ball and they're short of the goal line, they call timeout, they can stop the clock and kick the field goal, but they're going in the end zone for the play, so they're either going to get a incomplete or hopefully a touchdown.
Well, you've seen very, very good time management for a high school team. They've done a really good job of it. In the end zone, did Shanks hold on to it? Yes, touchdown.
What a catch.
Maurice Shanks. And a late flag, and that will go for that extra celebration thing that was going on there. Again, not much, but boy, you can't do anything in high school ball. And here's the replay. You're going to watch this. Mizell all the time thinking about Shanks. What a nice hit put on Shanks by
that was Mark Streeter.
Man, did he put a hit on him, but Shanks held on and got the touchdown.
But the extra point
We
is
have a
gonna be-
dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the scoring team. Score counts. We'll do the extra point from the 18.
So
Right.
we got a 28-yard extra point here.
So Shanks on the receiving end of the touchdown pass of 7 yards, but now a 34-yard extra point try because of the celebration, if you will, and that one is going to be off the mark. So that could come back to be a real problem later on in the close game here, where you don't get the extra point because of the 15-yard penalty.
Good point.
Nonetheless, the Phantoms did a super job of time management there, as they number of times could have decided to, you know, take that time out and so forth, but they had their heads straight, and they did a great job of marching down the field and then ultimately getting the touchdown rather than the possible three-point play. And give Shanks credit. That was a superb effort, because he took a major hit when that ball was caught, and he held on to it.
Well, he was in the air when he caught the ball and was hit and spun around, but he made sure that that ball was in the end zone when he came down.
So the Phantoms, who led 7-0, only to relinquish the lead and tie the ball game with Ananias Boyd's 61-yard punt return, with just 9 seconds left in the half, have gone back on top with a 7-yard pass from Mizell to Shanks, and the extra point try of 34 yards was of no good. It was wide left. And I don't want to elaborate greatly on it, but what happened was, after the play, in the exuberance, a little bit of a strut was performed on the sideline, and again, you just cannot show up the other team and it just, you know, the problem with these kids is they see this on TV and they just think it's okay to do it, and on the high school level, it's just not going to be tolerated. I don't think it's all that great to tolerate it in the pros.
Well, and the one against the Bruins was the guy he was saying first down. You know, and
he didn't taunt the guy, he didn't stick the ball in his face or spike it at his feet or anything else. But any of this stuff, and you know, to the referee's credit, I think they've called it correctly.
I think so too.
By the letter of the rules. And you see the replay of the kickoff. Now the Bruins, the clock will not start until the ball is snapped. That was a change in high school rules not long ago. We almost had too many players on the Bruins, a little confusion, and of no real consequence. The Bruins were going to just take a knee and get this half over with anyway. So we've reached halftime. It's been a good one.
Been a nice and entertaining half of football, and boy, if you're not out here, you're missing a good one.
All right, we are at halftime, and our score at halftime is Phoebus 13 and Bethel 7. We'll return to Darling Stadium for the third quarter of action after a brief timeout. Back here at Darling Stadium at halftime, our score, Phoebus 13 and Bethel 7. In the first half, the Bruins rushed the ball 14 times for 22 yards. Ananias Boyd had 6 carries for 28. And, of course, he had the 61-yard punt return for the touchdown, and that was the only score that the Bruins had in the first half. Joshua Lyles had a good first half, 4 out of 8 throwing, 1 interception. He had 77 yards. The leading receiver was Chris Kennedy, who had 2 catches for 51. The Bruins registered 7 first downs. However, they were one of their own worst enemies. They had 6 penalties for 60 yards.
Wow.
And they fumbled the ball once, and they lost that fumble. That was, of course, the fumble on the opening kickoff. Total offense for the Bruins in the first half, a net 99 yards. For the Phantoms, they rushed the ball 25 times for 106 yards. Travis McWright was the leading rusher with 17 carries for 84. In the passing department, Leon Mazzell had 6 of 11. He was not intercepted. He completed passes totaling 38 yards, and of course one was to Maurice Shanks of 7 yards. That was the final score with 9 seconds remaining in the first half. And Shanks was the leading receiver with 4 catches as we watched the touchdown pass to Shanks. What a nice hit.
Wow,
and a great
nice
job,
catch.
Great job of holding on to the ball. But Shanks had 4 grabs for 34 yards and the touchdown. The the Phantoms rather, had 9 first downs. They were penalized 5 times for 75 yards, and they did not fumble the ball.
Well, you had said here, and I don't think that's right. I think Bob missed that because there was another. Remember, they Bethel turned the ball over down here, and Phoebus had to turn around and punt it, and Lance Boyd run the thing back because there was 2 fumbles, and
you're absolutely right.
The Bruins lost both of them. One of them hurt them, one of them didn't hurt them. I kind of remember that.
No, you're right, because that was a very important part of the first half, and I was reading his statistics without giving a lot of thought, but you're absolutely right. And there was the opening kickoff fumble, and then there was that fumble down there, and we talked about how the Bruin defense was able to force the Phantoms to kick, and on that kick they scored the touchdown. So that is correct. There were 2 fumbles and 2 lost fumbles by the Bruins in the first half. So we are at halftime, and the teams are back on the field. The Phantoms did win the toss, and they deferred to the second half, and that, of course, will allow them to receive.
Yes, they will.
So Andrews has the ball teed up. Maurice Shanks is back deep in the center of the field, and the kick will in fact go to the far side. And the Phantoms will return it, and that was number 3, Sarkey.
Yeah, Sarkey on it, but number 51 making the stop. That young man, Brandon Jordan, has been name's been called quite a bit on defense.
Sarkey hasn't played on offense tonight. He ran the ball quite effectively for the Phantoms in some previous games we've seen.
Well, but look who's running now. McWright. It's hard to get him back out of the lineup once he got in there.
17-yard return on the kickoff as the Phantoms will set it up now, and they go with McWright.
Tim, we will pick a player of the game from each one of these teams tonight, and that player will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from Engraving Inc., located at Taft Square on Route 17. The shirt comes from Island Hardware and Sporting Goods, and they're located in Pocosin. We do appreciate them helping us recognize a player of the game.
Who's this guy that just pulled in behind you here?
I don't know. This is Mr. Kozlowski, my buddy.
All right. No gain on the play. And McWright again, and again that Bethel defense has just done an outstanding job this evening as McWright picks up maybe a yard and a half. We'll even give him 2 on the play, but it brings up a 3rd down and long for the Phantoms. So the effectiveness of McWright has been stymied by the fact that the Bruin defense has just played very well tonight. And I was talking with some of the fans here at halftime, and they were all talking about the fact that they felt like Phoebus hadn't played on offense with the same intensity that they can play. But I felt that really it was a case of more intensity on defense by the Bruins. Shanks cannot come up with a catch. A lot of hand fighting going on between Shanks and Sarkey as they went, not Sarkey rather, but number 3 is Streeter. And but I think it was a good no call. I mean, there was no advantage gained by either player.
Either player. And you know, that was one of those plays where had you been in position and you didn't have to do a 180-degree turn to try to get to the ball, one of those young men may have ended up with the ball. But it wasn't to be.
All right, the Bruin defense does the job, so the Phantoms will have to kick the ball. This is a low liner mishandled by Boyd, but he picks it up, looks for some running room. A flag goes down, and we've got probably a block in the back forthcoming as Boyd did not pick up much. And now the Bruins probably will be backed up even further as a result of the block.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Watch the replay here. You're going to see a pretty good-looking punt from Pavlik.
We have a clip on the return team.
Well, you can hear referee Roby telling you a clip on the return team.
Going back 50.
Gear Up Printing is the place to go for all your printing needs. Any business cards, letterheads, etc. You get a personal touch, only available at Gear Up Printing. Located at 1909 North Armstead Avenue. Give them a call at 827-8277.
So the penalty moves the ball back to the Bruin 21-yard line where they'll set up. 10:19 left here in the third quarter, just underway as the Bruins down by 6 points. Joshua Lyles at quarterback has two wide receivers. Fumble on the exchange from center.
The quarterback, Lyles, wasn't ready for the center to hike the ball. And almost was a big turnover.
Looks like the Bruins did keep it. They'll lose a yard back to the 20. But more importantly, they'll keep possession. Tracy Parker's squad 3-2 on the season, doing a really fine job over there as Tracy trying to follow in the footsteps of Coach Kozlowski. I consider him a good friend of mine and always been just a super guy to work with over the years. Miss him on the field.
Yes, we do. But and he brought some stuff up to the athletic director over there, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But for security for your home, auto, and life protection, call the Good Hands people, Robert Mann and James Hudson, with your Allstate, 827-1200.
Nothing happening on that last play, so the defense is taking over here for both teams as the Bruins stopped the Phantoms cold, and now the return favor.
Yeah, it looks like they might have made a couple of adjustments. You think those teams did?
You think it might have, yeah.
I think so.
So again, with that bare backfield, Lyles standing at his 16-yard line with no one to protect. Phantoms coming. He has some good protection. Throws and is incomplete at the 25-yard line. Would not have been enough for a first down anyway.
I tell you, big old Maurice Lachlan, and we've called his name a few times, Tim, was right on top of him.
Yeah, that's a case where the Bruins now did a better job of protecting for Lyles that time, but still, it was a tough situation. And now the Bruins will put Mark Jefferson back in deep punt formation. And Maurice Shanks will be the lone deep back for the Phantoms to return the kick. 8:52 left in the third quarter. Momentary stoppage of play here. The officials stopping the action for just a minute. Tracy Parker wanted to know why, and now they're set to go. So Jefferson, high snap, big rush by the Phantoms. He gets it away. And Shanks fumbles the ball and is picked off in the middle of the air.
You can't run it.
Can't rush. You cannot forward. Nope, you can't advance a muff. But the ball will belong to the Bruins. The touchdown, as pretty as it would be for the homestanding Bruins, would be lovely, but their celebration will be for naught. They'll get the ball, but you can't advance a muff. Here's the replay.
And Maurice Shanks is saying that the guy didn't really give me a lot of room to catch it, but he did.
He had room. He had that, what is it, the 2 or 3 yard halo. I mean, he really did seem to give him enough room. But that's the rule, and the fans here in the stands don't necessarily know the rule or may not remember the rule.
Or may not like the rule.
And definitely the Bruin fans don't like the rule, but it is the correct call. Since he never had control of the ball, you cannot advance a muff. That is the rule that covers it. And in any event, the Bruins will keep the ball, having punted it and gotten it right back at their own 49-yard line. So a big break for the Bruins, and now timeout is called by the Phantoms as they were uncertain of the personnel or something on the field.
Well, while we got a timeout here, let me talk about the stuff that Coach Kozlowski brought us up. And I call him Coach, even though he's not coaching the athletic director. But the young lady out there that was twirling the baton during halftime, Jennifer Marvellis, she was in 1999 was Miss Majorette of Virginia, Virginia State solo champ, first alternate for the dance twirl in World Championships in England, In 1997 through 95, she was Miss Majorette of Virginia. In 1998, 1997, Governor's High Point Award. Invited to compete at the Twirlers Main in Gold in Orlando, Florida in February of 2000.
That's Twirlmania.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, Twirlmania.
Twirlmania. Oh, okay.
Twirlmania.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to read here.
Well,
But this is invitation only.
Back to the live action as Ananias Boyd is down at the 41-yard line, close to a first down. In fact, it will be enough for a first down.
Well, let me just finish it up.
Absolutely.
She's got invitation only down to that Twirlmania in Orlando, Florida in February of 2000. And in 1999 also, she was a regional 3-baton champion. Now, I got a picture over here, and I don't think we can get this on camera, but I tell you, she's a nice-looking young lady and has got a lot of awards, and we appreciate Coach Kozlowski bringing that up here.
First down for the Bruins at the 40. Boyd flagged down. Boyd picks up a couple, but a penalty flag on the play.
Well, usually you're going to find that is a holding where that flag is thrown right in the middle of that big pileup.
Hey, be sure and check out your neighborhood
Holding
Zooms.
on the offense.
5 convenient Hampton locations. Zooms, Zoom Citgo, and they've got that Citgo gas. They've got the great fried chicken, potato wedges. They got Pepsi Cola. They got Beantown coffee. They got Krispy Kreme donuts. They got all kinds of good stuff.
I'm getting hungry.
One coming to my neighborhood soon.
Well, I hear that. HCS Reports has a new look. Join anchor Beth Sadler Monday through Friday at noon and 5 p.m. for all the news and information on the Hampton City schools.
Clock moving with 7:47 remaining in the third quarter. Been a battle of the defenses so far. Yeah, I got those here. I'm going to talk about my buddies over at Kickoff High School graduates. Good play action fake. Got a man wide open. He's got it at the 15-yard line. Nick Leto will score.
And nobody was around him.
My gracious, did they fake out the defense. 50 yards in the air. In fact, he was so wide open, your fear had to be he was too wide open, and he'd probably drop it because he couldn't concentrate on it.
Watch the replay.
I mean, he just blown coverage big time. Miles laid it out there, and Nick Leto was there for the grab and the touchdown. So if the Bruins came into this game concerned about their ability to score points, they have just taken the lead 14-13. Phantoms in shock.
That was a great faking in the backfield, but what made that play work was they sent a man down the sideline and he hesitated and then brought a man in the flat right in front of that defensive man, and he stepped up to that position and nobody picked up the deep man. It was just kind of a blown coverage there, but it was a great route that was run, and another one that just kind of was like a look at me, but I'm not the one who's going to throw the ball to. Good job that time by the Bethel Bruins.
Stallion Brothers, heating and cooling.
Stallion Brothers.
Yes, sir. Kickoff High School graduates. They are locally owned, the company is, and they're operated by the Stallion Brothers, and they service most brands. Give them a call at 825-1416 or 850-5564.
I noticed that your arms tried to get a little longer there.
Well,
the
print got smaller right there.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's what it was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The arms keep getting shorter as I keep getting older.
It's amazing how that works.
It's awful. All right, with 7:30 left in the third quarter, and that ball should be dead right there, and it is. Good call.
Put his knee down.
At the 15-yard line, the ball was caught, and Mizell went to a knee, and as soon as you do that in high school ball, you're no longer able to advance the ball.
Mental mistakes right now are killing the Phantoms.
Those penalties, yeah, those penalties hurt them. They had some big drives, call back, and allowed the Bruins some yardage they shouldn't have. So let's see if the Bruins can hold now. They lead by 1 point. Double wide receivers to the top of the screen, and a mix-up in the backfield. Nothing happening there as best thing for a defense is some good offense every now and then. As the defense is fired up for the Bruins, Thomas Hobson, as he just manhandled the ball carrier. There you see him, number 15.
He's one of those linebackers.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Oh, I'll take that back. He's not a linebacker. I think he's one of the defensive backs. No, he's a linebacker. Yeah, one of the outside linebackers.
Out of the I formation. Mizell with some nice play action, gets some good time to throw, wants to throw to Shanks. Shanks is behind and can't hold on to the football.
Ball that hit him in the chest.
Right there where you don't want it to hit you, right in the chest, and it bounced off his pads as Mark Streeter was step for step with him. Got a penalty flag down, but let's watch the replay here before we give you the penalty. Got a roughing the passer call, so the Phantoms will get a break here. And that ball was right there.
Maurice, and he's hitting himself in his head saying, you know, catch the ball with your hands. Don't let it get to your body.
Well, you know, again, we are always wanting to be quick to their defense. These young high school players are fallible like everybody else. You watch the pros do that. These guys get paid millions of dollars and still let that happen.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. First down.
So that's a big first down,
it's a
Tim,
huge
from 15 to the 30.
Yeah, and they, you know, that was the defense had been able to stop the Phantoms. So now the Bruins commit the mental error and give up the big 15-yarder. Blitzing McWright. And McWright is at the 35-yard line, picks up about 5.
WHCS Channel 46 presents live your school board meetings on the first and third Wednesdays of each month at 7:30 p.m. So tune in and be informed.
So they marked the ball just across the 35-yard line, gain of 5 by McWright. He's rapidly approaching the 100-yard, 91 yards, so he's just 9 yards shy of the 100-yard mark tonight. 2nd and 5 as we approach the halfway mark of the third quarter. And now we've got a penalty flag down. And I think this might be a warning. I think maybe they want to move the players for the Bruins back and see what they.
We have a sideline warning on the Bethel sideline.
That's what it is. So the penalty flag will not be a penalty that is assessed, but the players have to maintain a certain distance from the sideline. And hello. So here we go. We're back in business here, 2nd and 5. Power running.
This has been a game of a lot of change in momentum from one team to another tonight, Tim.
Got a different ball player that time. That was Antonio Faison who carried the ball for one of the rare times tonight. So it brings up 3rd down and 2. It's been a lot of ebb and flow to it, and it's been one of the more entertaining games we've had recently. We've had some real blowouts in the recent past, and this one has been a good one. On 3rd and 2, McWright had him, but they can't contain him as he's out to the 46.
It looked like they had him back at about the 39-yard line, which would have been short of the first down, but he just kept his feet moving.
Well, he showed that you don't have to be, 230 pounds to have power, and he just kept those legs churning and just broke tackles and picked up the first down. Watch the replay. You'll see what we're speaking of. He stopped really right here, right there, but he just ran out of the tackle and did a good job of picking up the first down.
Well, actually picked up about 5 to 6 more yards from that point.
He was only a player or 2 away from breaking that.
Yeah.
First down, 46, and we got movement on the offensive line. That'll cost the Phantoms about 5. Not about 5, exactly.
Well, when they mark it off, it's probably about 5.
That's true. That's very true. Hampton Chevrolet, they're locally owned, and they strongly believe in supporting. Go ahead, Gary. Don't let me hold you back.
He's done.
Locally owned business, and they strongly believe in supporting both the communities and the schools.
We're still playing first down.
Hey, don't do that again.
He's going to get you both times. You want to try that one more time?
Hampton Chevrolet is a locally owned business, and they strongly believe in supporting both the community and the schools. Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. First and 15. Mazzell trapped in the backfield, and he'll just get back to the 40. That'll be a loss of a yard.
And Tim, he was going to go back to pass, but when he turned around, there was no place to put that ball. Lost another, probably about a yard.
So now it's third down. Check that second down, rather. The penalty was a repeat of first down, so second down and about 16 now. And again, the Bethel defense just played great tonight.
Oh, they're really fired up tonight. I've not seen them this fired up in a long time. Nice call.
Oh, good. On the delay, McWright just picks his way downfield, and the speedster is dragged down, but not before he gets to the 26-yard line.
But Tim, that was nothing more than just being able to get outside, and if the Bruin guy, there was number 3 that got him for the
Streeter,
he had an angle. If he didn't have the angle, he was gone. But look how a draw play was a perfect call, and look how he just kind of dips in and gets out, but the Streeter had that angle.
And he got some real good blocks too.
Yes, he did.
He got some excellent blocks.
But he used his blocks well. And that's one of the things that you got to look for when you're a running back is you sometimes by juking like he does, he sets up the blocks. But you're right, he got some good blocks, but he used them.
132 yards on the evening now for the sophomore McWright, and he just continues to impress me with his play. And you might be able to see it in your picture now. You see Tracy Parker.
He's upset about something.
Yeah, he's saying, wait a minute, referee Roby, these are some things that are happening that are not, they're not fair. They're not following the rules here.
They're not doing it right.
And you're not calling it. And boy, he's, and again, as long as you maintain your cool.
Right.
This is allowable to discuss this with the referee, and the referee will listen to you.
Well, let me talk about our crew tonight. Our cable pullers are Asa Carroll and Nara Towns. Instant replay slow-mo, Bev Penn.
Aren't they called mobile cable?
Hey, don't be messing with my mind. I see, I'm not going to get it in. The rest of the crew's going to be upset because you messed it up.
They're mobile cable technicians is what they're called.
Mobile cable technician.
Better known as cable pullers.
All right, anyway, the cameras are Nathaniel Braxton, Susan Bowers, and Ron Baton. Engineer Don Charaus, graphics and audio Andy Foley, and a big guy, beam me up, Scotty Bowers in charge of the whole thing. And Scotty went to, hey, we got to see the new truck. They painted, put a little blue on that thing. But, Scotty, I get here and Scotty's missing when I get here tonight. You know where he was?
No.
Tailgate party. Did you get invited?
Not me.
Did Kelly?
Well, what time do you have to get here to get to the tailgate? I can be here at that time.
Yeah. Got a flag.
All right, flag down. Let's talk more about what time that tailgate party is supposed to start. I can be here earlier. I can work that out.
Yeah. Did you find out about it at all?
No. Just not until now.
Yeah, Scotty's pretty secretive about some things.
All right, got a penalty flag. The Phantoms have a first down inside the 10 if the play stands, but let's see how this call goes.
Seems like we're having an abundant amount of flags tonight.
I'm telling you, it's been flag day down here this evening.
No flag.
No flag. So they're going
Joe Newkirk is down there helping, Scotty tells me. So we want to make sure we give credit to him. And, of course, Larry Malloy and his crew, Ricky and John and all the guys, they just do a great job here at the stadium, and we appreciate them.
All right, first and goal for the Phantoms. There was no penalty on the play, so the play stands. McWright bounces off a would-be tackler and pulls his way down to the 5-yard line. The little guy dragging tacklers to the 5. Picks up about 4.
Big 073, Joseph Solomon, 5'10", 210, just a sophomore, hit young Mr. McWright in the backfield, but he can't get it. Oh, there's Kurt Newsom down here from JMU checking out what's going on. Former Kickotan and Heritage coach.
Probably doing a little scouting too, I bet you.
Oh, he's checking these people out.
Good pursuit by the Bruin defense prevents McWright from getting anything on that play. So now we're looking at 3rd and goal at the 5. Excellent job of defense tonight. I've just been impressed by this whole Bruin defense and the Phoebus defense,
Yeah,
but
both
the Bruins have
defenses.
just done a great job.
And they really have, Tim. And we got a timeout. The Phantoms, we got to talk about it. It's 3rd down and goal from the 5, and we got to make sure we get in this time. If we don't, then at least we got to get the 3 points and get the lead back.
153 yards for Mr. McWright now.
Oh man, it doesn't seem like he's got that much, but yet he's picked up a lot of yardage on just quick hitters.
2:27 left in the 3rd quarter. Talk about our remaining regular season schedule. Of course, the next game we will be here will be Hampton and Kickotan. That'll be next Friday night, the 22nd. Please make plans to come out. The weather's just perfect.
Awesome.
Bring a blanket or a comforter and put on a jacket and just enjoy this incredible weather. And then the Pièce de Résistance, which is French for the game of the year.
And it will be a perfect night for football.
Yeah, well, I hope so. That'll be the Phantoms and the Crabbers, and that will go a long ways towards deciding who will represent the Peninsula District after the regular season ends. All right, right now, big play for the Phantoms. McWright, and he is down close to the goal line. He did not get
short.
in. They've got him at the 1 foot line, if there is such an animal, and now the Phantoms really have a decision. Do you kick, which would be basically an extra point for 3 points?
Yeah, but look at the angle you got. You got to go for it. That's a tough angle for a kicker when you're that close and you're over on the far hash mark. Not saying that he can't make it. I'm sure he can. But if I'm Bill D, Bill says, hey, we're going for it. We're going to take this thing right up the middle.
All right. This is a huge play. Mizell, touchdown.
And you had to do that, Tim. Now you got to go for 2.
So the quarterback keeper puts the Phantoms back on top. Here's the replay. He just followed his left tackle between the guard and the tackle and bowled his way in from 1 yard out. So
well, let's give credit to that offensive front 5. That's Alan Pavlik. It's the center. The guard is Floyd Braxton, number 74. The other guard is 78, Mario Blackley. The tackles are Page and Edmonds, and they just won the battle at the line of scrimmage, and that's what you got to do.
So ahead by 5. The theory is when you have a 5-point lead, you go for 2. In motion, first time we've seen that tonight. Shanks on play action over the middle, wide open. The big tight end has it for 2.
That's a play that they use strictly for this 2-point conversion. You get a lot of receivers out there, and you spread them out, and then you just slip that big old lineman in. But now we got another flag. And it's going to be against the Phantoms. And
let's, the importance of this flag is if it's a dead ball foul, then the 2-point stakes.
Unsportsmanlike here after the point. We will success on the kickoff. Point is good.
So the 2 points will be registered. Here's the replay of the 2-point conversion. Good play action, and then just wide open was Shaheed Harris.
And what he does, Tim, is he just kind of counts 1, 2. He makes the block, and then he just slips out, and you kind of forget about him. If you're a defensive back, you're looking for people going out into the patterns, and he just kind of hesitated and just kind of drug across to the right flat and was wide open.
Now the problem again, and I didn't see it, but they've obviously called it unsportsmanlike conduct, costs the Phantoms 15 yards.
And that means the Bethel is going to end up with pretty good field position.
Now the bad news is you're penalized 15 yards. The good news is if the wind has not changed, and the flags are pretty limp on the flagpoles, but if it hasn't changed, you at least have the wind behind you, so that'll give you a little bit of an assist. But you're absolutely right, barring a spectacular play, both either kicking it or returning it, it should give the Bruins a pretty good field position.
Well, what I would do, Tim, is if I'm going to kick it, I'm going to kick it over to the near side of the field. I'm going to kick it away from Ananias Boyd, because we saw what he can do if he gets a little running room. 21-14 as
Each team has traded touchdowns here in the third period. Pavlik's kick, and we've got flags and whistles, so that one will be re-kicked.
And that'll be a 5-yard. He'll go back to the 20.
Boy, starts to get real bad. That was not a great looking kick either. That would have given the Bruins great field position. They would have fielded it right about midfield. So those mental errors continue to hurt. See if we can see, and it looked like the player closest to the near sideline was ahead of the kicker.
Yep.
Crossed that line before the kicker kicked the ball. So just one of those mental errors. So now from the 20. .144 remaining in the third quarter. And no flag this time. A nice looking kick.
Oh, way back to the 25.
And all the way out to the 45-yard line. The kick returned by Gabriel Hamilton, number 32.
Michael Norwood in on the stop.
So a 45-yard line is where the Bruins will start. We said they'd have good field position, but actually that was a good-looking kick, all things considered. And here's Hamilton, and he took a pretty good lick right there by number 4, Michael Norwood, but held on to the ball. So the Bruins now down by 7. Will put it in play. Each team has used one of their 3 timeouts that they're allotted in the half. And Boyd is midfield, so he picks up 5. I'm very impressed with this young quarterback, Joshua Lyles. I think he's just played extremely well. He's a junior, 6'2", about 175 pounds. But not that the other quarterbacks playing for Bruins were doing poorly, but he's looked real good.
Well, you know, Jason Wood started the part of the season, and then Mark Jefferson came in, and now Joshua Lyles is playing. So this is really the third quarterback. And Mark Jefferson really got hurt, but Jason Wood is playing doing a great job playing safety on defense for the Bruins.
Boyd tonight held down 8 carries for 45 yards. This one is given to 33 Ryan Holloway. Holloway has not carried very many times tonight. He is stopped at the 46-yard line of the Phantoms. And that brings up a 3rd down and short, 3rd down and a little more than a yard. So a big 3rd down play coming up here for the Bruins as we're down to the half-minute mark of the third quarter. Homecoming for the homestanding Bruins, trying to make it a successful one, and they've got the first down as the ball is carried to the 43-yard line by Ananias Boyd for a first down. Put all of our commercials in, or whatever they call them, sponsor mentions in the third quarter.
Sponsor mentions. I don't know. Who'd we get?
I think I have my list. The only one I'm not sure of is Gear Up Printing, and I think you
I did Gear Up.
talked about Gear Up.
There did we get everybody?
We're done. We're toast.
We're toast?
For the third quarter, anyway.
Stick a fork in him, he's done.
May get this last play off before the quarter ends. It's down to 1 second. Nope, he will not, as the whistles sound before the snap of the ball. So we have played 3, and it's been a very entertaining contest. The Phantoms 21 and the Bruins 14, as we will move to the fourth quarter. Final 12 minutes coming up momentarily. Again, next week, Hampton and Kickingham, and then the following week, it'll be the Phoebus Phantoms and the Hampton Crabbers for all the marbles, in essence, potentially. Now, you know, that's one of the problems you have to have. Here's Hampton tonight. Of course, we're not privy to the game scores, but they're playing a very improved Gloucester team. Really like nothing more than to upset them. And, of course, here's the Bruins probably out of the running of postseason play with the 2 losses. But, boy, would they love to spoil the Phantoms opportunities.
Well, and you know, you got a good point there, but Gloucester is a much improved team, but you know, when you play Gloucester at Gloucester, you know, that's like playing you're playing 12 men on the field, and I don't mean that derogatory. I mean, anytime you play at your home, and Gloucester has probably got more life in their football program they've had in a long time. First time since they've been in the Tennessee District that they will end up at least with a 500 record, if not better.
As the fourth quarter starts, Boyd is on the run. And as Boyd cuts it back, he's down into the touchdown.
What a nice run by Ananias Boyd. He just avoided some tackles.
43 yards for Boyd. What a great effort by this young man. We've seen him before, as we mentioned, even in defeat. The Bruins have had him as their shining star, and now they have an opportunity to tie or go ahead in this game, depending on their election. We've got a Phoebus fan.
Somebody's is hurt on the far side over there.
Can't make out the number. Wouldn't want to speculate.
Yeah.
I still can't see. All right, the Bruins will go for the tie.
And we got a chance to tie it up.
Matt Andrews will try to go for the single. It's long enough, and it is right through the uprights. All right, let's watch the replay of the touchdown. 43-yarder. Looks like he might be stopped right here. Does a great job of cutting back. Right there, looks like he's going to be stopped, but he said, nope, you're not stopping me. I'm going in.
Well, the young man from the Phantoms that got shaken up was really hit by his own player going for the tackle. We had a young lady come up here and wanted to make sure that we got the name spelled right, and this is in the program, and we have no choice, but I will mention that number 75 is James Harriston, is spelled Hairiston, I think. But anyway, we will do what we can do.
That's right.
And while we're doing that, printing is our only game, and we are very good at what we do. So whatever your printing needs are, give us a call at Gear Up Printing, 827-8277.
I do want to mention one thing you're talking about. Some of the fans will come to us and they'll tell us about a mispronunciation. And we encourage the fans to do that because we don't want to get the names pronounced incorrectly. But unless we're told otherwise, sometimes it's up for grabs, and we sometimes make the wrong choice. And we appreciate the parents who obviously want their student athletes' names pronounced correctly. We'll work towards it every chance we can. Short kick taken at the 22-yard line. Out to the 30, to the 35. So Mizell returns the kick to the 35-yard line. So with the score all tied at 21, the Phantoms will start from that point.
Need car insurance? Get the best. Call Robert Mann and James Hudson, your Allstate agents, at 942 Big Bethel Road at 827-1200. It's an exciting game, Tim. All tied
man,
up.
it's been a good one. We haven't had a real close, good offensive game. We had a scoreless game between Kickintown and Bethel, which was played on a horrible field condition.
Oh, it really was.
And really, quite frankly, it was just a mess as far as either team being able to move the ball. But this has been exciting, and it's been a good game. Pick-up of a couple that time by the Phantoms. Sarkey checks into the offensive lineup, giving McCright a breather, I believe. That's the fact that McCright has done such a great job. He's had a hard time, Sarkey has, a hard time getting back in there. Mizell on the option, keeps it, and gets out about a yard short of a first down at the 44-yard line.
Well, he started slipping as he made his turn. There's not as much turf right there in the center of the field as it happens at all ball fields this time of the year, but he made his turn and started slipping in, and to his credit, he picked up another yard or two after he was slipping. So we now have a whistle blown for some reason. Officials timeout. I'm not sure what the reason is.
Well, we're having the same warning now to the Phoebus side of the field. The sideline warning to back away from the sideline itself. Supposed to stay a couple of yards behind it. So.
Well, you know, you get excited, get into the game, and you know, you just a tendency to edge up.
McWright across midfield, a first down for the Phantoms at the Bruin 49.
I tell you, Ananias Boyd and McWright, Travis McWright, are really putting on a show tonight, aren't they?
Marilyn Lee comes hobbling off of the field for the Bruins.
He's one of the defensive linemen, Tim. He's 6'2", 205 senior, and it looked like he may have twisted an ankle or something. But they got him on the side, and Frank Brown, the trainer's over there looking at the situation.
McWright 168 yards before this carry, and he's keep on trucking. The young man.
He was stopped at about the 47.
Yep, got all the way down to the 43, so he picks up 6. So that gives him now 174 yards if my feeble attempt at math is correct.
And Phoebus is running a hurry-up offense.
Yep. And McWright again, this time is stopped at the 42-yard line, so he'll come up about 2.5 yards shy of a first down. It'll be third down and about, let's call it 3.
Well, I know 2 young men are going to sleep well tonight.
Me and who else?
Travis McKnight and Ananias Boyd.
42-yard line is where they mark it. They have to get to the 39. Third down and 3. Less than 10 minutes now. We're down at 9:22, and the clock is moving. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. McWright tries to get to the outside. He's tripped up on a nice defensive play by the
15.
Bruins. Hobson.
15. Done a
Thomas
great job.
Hobson. He really has. He's made a couple of good hits, and that one sets up a 4th and 2. Play coming in from the sidelines as Bill D sends it in. Sarkey will come out, and Merlin Ellis will come in with the play.
Big play here, because if you could put the Bruins real back, way back into their end of the field. But if you don't pick it up, they got great field position.
And they shift out trying to draw the Bruins off. The Bruins did a good job of not jumping, and then the Phantoms take too much time.
Well, I thought he called timeout before the flag was thrown, but evidently it wasn't soon enough.
All right, so that was the play. They were going to shift in a real hard count type of thing, and the Bruins did
Wait a
move.
second. I don't think there's no flag, because they did call timeout.
All right, so that is the deal.
Yeah.
You were absolutely right, Bob.
Because the Mizell actually called timeout to the official up in front, and Roby was getting ready to throw the flag, which he should have been doing, but the timeout was called just before the flag was thrown.
All right, so they saved the 2 yards. They burned their second of 3 timeouts in doing so. So with 8:32 left, the Phantoms have 1 timeout, but they don't lose the 5 yards, so they still have the option to discuss on the far sideline. Do you want to go for it on 4th and 2, knowing that if you get it, great, you know, you keep the drive alive, but if you give it up, the Bruins will have real good field position.
Man, what do you do?
Hampton Chevrolet urges you, if you don't know what to do, support the community by giving to the Peninsula United Way campaign. Hampton Chevrolet, 1073 West Mercury Boulevard, a very continuously big supporter of sports here on Channel 46. We appreciate all of our corporate sponsors.
Oh, we do that.
And Hampton Chevrolet has been with us for quite some time.
And of course, we don't want to forget Dave Buckwalter at Engraving Inc. and John Roberts at Highlander Hardware and Sporting Goods.
All right, back to a big play here.
Oh, they're going to go for it.
4th and 2. They line up to go, and they give it to McWright, and McWright has the first down.
Man, what a gutsy call.
The littlest running back out there.
And Tim, that shows a lot of confidence in that offensive line. But we're going to, and this is a good move. Let's make sure he got it. Let's measure it. That way there's no, well, you know, and it's going to be close, but it's.
Yeah, it's clearly a first down.
Yeah,
He's got it by better than a half a yard.
There you go. My man is going to be 0 for 3. I mean, 3 for 3.
Oh, for.
0 for. Oh, no, that was for punting, right?
Get those crooked lines, but I was down there earlier, and I'll tell you, Malloy's group makes nice straight lines. Those nice thick yard lines. There you go, first down, no doubt about it. Mark and Kenny of Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling remind you that now's the time to get that furnace checked, and you're right, I had mine on this morning before the cold winter months ahead. Call them at 825-1416 or 850-5564. By the way, never an overtime charge at Stallion Brothers.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. There you go is right. The Phantoms are going now at the 39-yard line. Fresh set of downs. 8:08 to go. They are down to one timeout and tripped up at the line of scrimmage is McWright. And again, a good job on defense. And the number we've
41.
41. We've called his name, Brian Jordan again. He keeps coming to the top here. Cream rises to the top, and he's had an excellent ball game playing defense tonight.
He really has, Tim. But what made that play work for him is he hit the young man McWright right at the ankles.
So they mark the ball forward about a yard. 7:33, the clock moving. I formation, Joe Lewis and McWright in the backfield behind Mazel. Play action fake. Mazel has time, throws wide open, 25-yard line to the 15-yard line. A penalty flag down. But that was caught by Shaheed Harris.
And that's the second time he's made a big play.
All right, we're going to return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of tonight's ball game after a brief timeout. Here at Darling Stadium, let's listen to Gary Roby.
Clipping on the offense. We'll replay second.
All right, so it was not a dead ball foul, so what they'll do is they'll mark the penalty from the point of the infraction. So
it's still second down, Tim. Now instead of 2nd and 9, it's 2nd and what, about 3?
Looks to be second down to about 2. Yep, they need to get to the 29-yard line, so it is not as painful a penalty as it could have been.
You're right there. They had the first down. They were inside the 15, but now at least they're not 2nd and long.
And I'll tell you, that's a pretty play all night long. Mizell throwing to the big tight end. This is McWright now, and he will be close to another first down depending on the spot. Looks like he got down to about the 28.5. Well, they didn't put the ball where the line judge had his feet here. That's a terrible mark. Which are you going to go with? The line judge had it at the 28, and they spot the ball at the 29. So not a good mark if you're lining it up with the line judge.
Well, this has been an interesting game.
It's been a good one. I haven't enjoyed one quite as much as this in a while. This has been a real good one, and it comes up short. So had he given him the mark that the line judge had put his foot on, it would have been close to a first down, but this time it's the length of a football shy, and still only second down.
Well, it's third down, but Tim, this is where you do the safest play in football, I think, and that's the quarterback sneak. You pick it up. You've scored a touchdown that way.
And you called it. And he has the first down and then some. And good mark or bad mark, you'll have a fresh set of downs here. And they stop the clock with 6:42 to go. If you joined us late, it's 21-all. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz with the Channel 46 crew coming to you from Darling Stadium. Game taped on the 15th of October of 1999. And the Phantoms scored early as they recovered the opening kickoff, made it 7-0. Then the Bruins came back and tied it at 7-all. Shanks, with 9 seconds to go in the half, made it 13-7. Bruins came back, made it 14-13, and then the Phantoms 21-14, and then the Bruins, it's been back and forth, 21-all, and that's where we stand with 6.5 minutes left in the regulation time.
I'm glad you said regulation, but you're right. But again, number 41, Brian Jordan.
Huge penalty here. The Phantoms had a first down and a clipping penalty on the play.
Well, Brian Jordan, number 41, was in on that tackle. They only picked up about a yard, but they'll won't take the down. They'll take that penalty and move the Phantoms clear back.
On the offense, we'll replay second down.
So now you're way back at the 41, Tim.
These penalties have just been really killing the Phantoms, and that's part of the game, of course. Hey, after the game, make that trip to Zooms. Zooms is your friendly Hampton locations. Got 5 of them. Go there after the game. On the draw, McWright is to the 35-yard line, so he picks up about 7.
Thomas Hobson, we've called his name quite frequently tonight. Number 15 really put a hit on Travis.
Picking up player of the game for this thing is not going to be easy.
It really isn't, Tim. You know, we've had 2 good running backs tonight, but they both have received player of the game awards, and I'm looking at these young men on defense. I think both of them have got some people on defense that have really stepped up and shown a lot of moxie tonight, a lot of maturity.
Play action. Mizell had the man open and earlier. He's got a man, Joe Lewis.
Oh, what a nice play.
Boyd. Ananias Boyd showing he's not just an offensive player. Timed that perfectly and broke up what would have been a big first down for Joe Lewis and the Phantoms. What a great defensive play that was. Watch this. Looks like he's got it, and boom, Boyd gets
the ball just hung up in the air a little too long. If he'd have thrown it with a little more of a straight rope type of pass, he would have probably completed it, but good job by Ananias Boyd.
Phoebus, by the way, has been penalized 12 times for 145 yards tonight. On the draw, and McWright gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. So now it brings up 4th and long. They need to go all the way down to the 17-yard line to get a first down. They're at the 35, 4th and 17. Well, what do you do now? You got a 4th and 17 play?
You know, you punt the ball, they're going to get it 15 yards. You know, if it goes in the end zone, they're going to get it at the 20, so you pick up 15 yards on it. So, you know, a lot of things can happen.
Got a lot of defensive confusion right now. The Bruins call a timeout just before the snap of the ball, I think. And they had players who had no idea where to line up, and they got the timeout, and that could be a huge timeout call.
And you're right there.
They had 5 players that were going back and forth trying to figure out where they were supposed to line up, and so a very timely timeout, which leaves each team now with just 1 timeout remaining, and we have exactly 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Well, you know, this gives us a chance. We don't get a chance to sit here for a moment and speculate. 4th and 17. And really, I think there is a no-brainer here. If you punt the ball, the best thing you end up with is about 15 yards difference if you can't get them. Now, if you can kick it out of bounds at the 3, obviously you have a huge advantage because then it becomes a field position game, but you've only got 5 minutes left. So I think going for it on 4th and long is as good a play as any.
I really do too, but you know, you just gotta have confidence in your offensive line, because you're almost going to look for a pass play. They're really going to have to do a good job of protecting the quarterback and make sure there's no illegal blocks, there's no clipping. Don't take away a possible good good play.
All right, first time tonight we've seen Mizell out of the shotgun. He had time and doesn't have time, as almost out of nowhere he is thrown for a sack by James Harrison. We want to make sure we pronounce that one correctly.
We got it right.
So a huge play on 4th and long. The sack moves the ball to the 44-yard line. Look at, he's got plenty of time here. And then all of a sudden
it just collapsed.
The pocket collapsed, and Harrison was there, makes the stop, and the Bruins get it back. What a huge play.
And what that'll do is that'll fire up your offense when your defense comes up with a big play like that.
Well, now we'll see what the defense of the Phantoms is made of. The Bruins have taken it to them tonight, and Lyles has just played outstanding at quarterback for the Bruins. They stay on the ball, on the ground with a relatively conservative play.
Well, you're gonna say maybe we can break one here. Maybe the defense will have a little lapse or something. So I see where Tracy Parker's coming from, and he's, Ananias picked up 5 yards, so you got 2nd and 5. That's not bad.
Well, that was Delance Styles, but you're
I'm sorry,
right.
Styles.
That's okay, but the point is, you're right, and I wasn't criticizing the conservative call, because a lot of times the conservative call can catch the defense off the guard. Might be looking for the bomb. Try it the other way, and the defense for the Phantoms allows nothing short of getting back to the line of scrimmage again by Styles. So,
well, I tell you, Styles was stopped about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and was very fortunate because of his power to make it to the line of scrimmage.
Slow to pick himself up was Maury Pauling on the play. Did get himself up though, but he was shaken up briefly. So now you're looking at 3rd down and 5. Styles got him 5 and then got him nothing, and you're at 3rd down and need a big play right here at midfield. High formation. Got nobody covering the slot man Kennedy, but they don't throw it to him. A flag down on the play, not enough for a 1st down, well short of the 1st down.
And that's probably illegal procedure.
I think it was illegal shift. You had too much motion in the backfield by the Bruins, so that will cost them 5.
Well, now
unless it's a dead.
Tim, it'd be 4th down and what?
Well, 4? That's what I'm just saying. Unless you elect to take the play, if that's an option to you.
Well, where's the ball spot? Oh, okay, no, it's 4th and looks like about 2 maybe at the most.
Not even, but about 2, because they need a 1st down at the 46. Looks like they've marked it between the 47 and the 48. Talking to the Phantoms defense, I gotta think they're going to take the play. Excuse me, they're going to take the penalty.
Illegal motion on the offense. Going to replay 3.
Well, see, now you got 3rd and 10, Tim, which is a smart move, but it is going to bring up a passing situation. Now, the Bruins have not run a draw tonight, and I have not seen a screen play this year to amount to anything.
Again, now they do put Kennedy in the slot. And they fake it, play action, and he's sacked. So the defenses have come up big for each team.
And that's number 10, Pauling, Tim, who was slow to get up a little while ago, has put on quite a show. Young man has played well.
Watch the replay on the play action, and they just could not block the defender on the play. So now the Bruins will have to kick the ball. Mark Jefferson back in deep punt formation. High snap, almost blocked it. Got it away. It takes a Phoebus bounce out of bounds at the Phoebus 42-yard line. So they'll have good field position. 2:27 left in regulation, tied at 21.
But Tim, our players of the game, you look at these young men and the 2 running backs, one on each team, and Boyd and McCright, you got to consider them.
And both quarterbacks, they both played.
Both of Lyles and Mizell both have done well, and Styles have run the ball well. Watson and Leto and Lee and Brandon Jordan, defensively on the Bruins have really stepped up. But Little John, Pauling, Shanks, Perry.
Okay, we'll leave them all player.
It's just a lot of people.
Oh, got a penalty flag.
A lot of people that you got to consider.
Got too many players on the field for the Phantoms, I believe. I think let's count noses. There's one on the sideline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, let's hear what Roby's got. Yep, he legals it.
On the offense, legal substitution on the offense. You want to, it's 5.
So a 5-yard penalty.
Well, I tell you, mental mistakes are really killing the Phantoms tonight for some reason.
Well, that's their 13th penalty for 150 yards, if I pick up the right number here from Bob. You just can't give up that many penalties and have any sustained drives.
Yep.
Oh, and McWright is just crushed as he ran into his own man, who was pushed back into him by number 75, Hairston. Hairston has just made some outstanding plays in the latter part of this game. Bruins back on defense. The Phantoms going without a huddle. We're down to 2:03. Play action fake. Mizell nailed as he throws the ball. It's incomplete. A good, clean play.
Well, Tim,
no penalty flag.
What a tough throw to run to your left and make the, and it really didn't hardly get his shoulders turned because of the pressure.
So this game more and more appears to be headed to overtime. Clock stopped with the incomplete pass with 1:58 remaining. The ball is at the Phoebus 31-yard line. They need to go all the way to the Bruin 48. 3rd and 20.
Back in that shotgun formation.
Again, one of the few times we've seen that formation. On the quarterback draw, Mizell will get nothing. So the Bruin defense, who's just been outstanding this evening, as have the Phantoms defense, comes up big again and forces the kicking team to come on for Bill D's Phoebus Phantoms. Now that's a shame one of these teams will go away with a loss tonight because they've both played well enough to win.
Well, you think you might want to call a timeout to stop the clock, but the clock will stop at the change of possessions.
If you call a timeout here, you have none left. So.
Yeah.
Pavlik back in deep punt formation. And the ever-dangerous Ananias Boyd back to receive the ball. Into the wind.
Well, he's kicking it away from Boyd, too.
Yep, and a good kick. They got a good distance on it, 35-yard line, no return. So now the Bruins will have 1:03. There you see it on your screen. One timeout each.
Well, you might get your little paper out and get ready to talk about the overtime.
This will be the second game we've seen the Bruins involved in it.
I was going to say, that's right.
I think I've got this one memorized now. You will get to it when it happens, if it happens. But
if it happens.
It's exciting stuff. You get to see the overtime. I used to hate games that just ended in a draw and a tie.
This is the kind of game as exciting as it is that you know, let's play it some more.
Until someone wins it outright. Lyles back to pass, has plenty of pressure, throws long, and it's incomplete. Down the far sideline, the intended receiver appeared to be at least Clifton Copley.
Well, Lyles got decked as he threw that ball, and he really was throwing it to a spot because he just really didn't have a chance. The pressure was right on top of him. And in this case, you know, I don't see where a play fake is going to slow down the defense because they figure you're going to throw that ball and we're going to come back. You know, I might as well run from the shotgun formation. And just as I said that, what are they going to do? They're going to give the ball to Ananias.
Well, when you got Ananias Boyd in your backfield, you have that explosiveness that with the right block and an opportune cut here or there, you can go all the way. Ball is short of the first down.
He waved his hand to stop the clock.
So they're going to ask for a measurement, which clearly is short, but that's the option you have as the offensive team, is you can ask for a measurement, and they have. So, you know, and I gotta tell you, we've got some kind of a semi-harassment by some of the coaches up here, giving our clock man a little bit of difficulty, but he stopped the clock because the official on the field signaled for that.
Yes, right. He clearly, and we're talking about the referee, Gary Roby. He reached up and said, stop the clock.
Well, even before him, the side judge did.
Oh, did he? I didn't see the side judge.
And that was when they apparently asked for a measurement. Now, once the chains are reset, the clock will restart. And that's a good move by the Bruins because they have the right, if it's reasonably close to a first down, if it's that way, they have the right to call for it. Third down, the clock is restarted. Third down and 1. And this is Boyd. And Boyd, oh my goodness, he almost broke it.
Almost broke it.
Now the clock again will stop with 36 seconds to go. The ball in Phoebus territory at the 47. High school and college, they stop the clock to move the chains. Here's the play, and Boyd just about got, if he could have just gotten loose there, he was gone. Down to 29, 28, 27. One timeout remaining. Boyd, left side, drags tacklers to the 41-yard line. It will not be close to a first down.
But the ball was loose, and the Phantoms came up with it.
They say they did.
The big number 78 come up with the ball, Tim, Mario Blackley.
The ruling, a fumble, gives the ball to the Phantoms. That stops the clock with 16 seconds to go. I thought the play had stopped myself, but I really wasn't paying that close of attention to the ball when it came out. Let's see if we can detect when the ball came loose.
Sometimes when you fight for that extra yardage, no, that's not the play. Here it is.
Here's the play.
And see, the ball came out just before he went down because the ball was clear back to the 44-yard line.
Well, in any event, it's the Phantoms' ball with trips to the left. Mizell back, has time, throws long. Shanks is his intended receiver. He is out of bounds when he caught it with 15 seconds. And Shanks is shaken up on the play. So Shanks, he attended to.
Jerry Gentry coming over. He's the trainer for the Phantoms. The Bethel trainers are there, you know, to give what aid they can. He may just be gotten a breath knocked out of him. That's all that happened. Good shot there. Watch the replay. He went up, and as he came down, really came down hard, and then got stepped on. A little insult to injury there.
All right, so the injured player will stop the clock, as did the incomplete pass, and they'll attend to Maurice and see him there in some obvious discomfort. Hopefully he is just had the wind knocked out of him. But I hate to hope anything worse than that was the case. Yeah, there's some discussion on the sideline about the clock on that one, and the clock did not start with the play. And they're asking for 3 seconds to be put on the clock or to take it off the clock. There's 16 seconds on the clock. 16 on the clock. The clock did not start. Now there's a discussion with the headset. I'm not sure how they're going to communicate because I don't know who the headset is attached to. I did see the clock operator move down to the PA position. So there was 16 seconds when the play started, and only 1 second went off the clock. Shanks slowly, as you see on your screen, making his way to the Phoebus side of the field. I'm going to probably adjust the clock. 15 on there. Let's see if there's going to be time taken off along back to 12 minutes of real time.
That's what they wanted. They wanted 3 seconds off, and they got the 3 seconds off.
Okay, and that makes sense. There were 16. The play took about 4 seconds. That's a good call. So now, again, each team with a single timeout. Clock won't start until the snap of the ball. Out of the shotgun. Trip, double wide receivers to the left. Mizell fakes the short pass. Now wants to throw long. He's hammered just as he throws it, and it is intercepted.
Intercepted by Wood, Jason Wood.
I look to see if there are any flags. I do not see a flag, so that play will stand with 4 seconds remaining. So I would suspect that the Bruins will take a knee. Watch your replay. So I would think the Bruins would take a knee here and elect to play it out in overtime. He just decided to throw it as long and as far as he could, and Jason Wood was there to pick it off.
And if you're going to throw it, I'm going to catch it.
So time for one more play in regulation, and then we will probably have overtime. I can't imagine the Bruins would try to throw the ball or do anything other than head to the overtime session, and that is the call. So the Bruins and the Phantoms have battled for 48 minutes, and this game is still undecided.
Very much so. Well, Tim, what we're going to have is the flip of the coin. And if you get the flip of the coin, you get the choice of taking the ball or going on defense. And you and I have talked before that it's always better to be on defense first. So if you can stop the other guy, then you know that you can kick a field goal and win the ball game. What happens is they'll start at one end of the field and from the 10-yard line, and that team will get 4 downs. And if they make a touchdown, then the other team gets 4 downs. If they kick a field goal, the other team gets 4 downs. If they don't get anything, the other team gets 4 downs. And they just go back and forth. And then after the first series, if nobody scores or if they both are still tied at the end of that, they'll flip the coin again so that they'll have another. There may be a different team will take the choice second time. So
the key is to win the coin
right.
toss.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Because that allows you the option, and the option is always to be on defense.
Bill D told me that quite a few years ago, that, you know, if I have my choice, I want defense first, because then I know what I got to do when I get the ball, and I've got enough confidence in my defense that I can do something.
I just assumed you talked to him. I just wanted to come over and find out why it hadn't happened yet.
And, you know, Bob Killen over here, my statistician supremo.
Anything, and the ball is immediately dead. Right. You cannot intercept, run back 99 yards, put that down. He said, fine. I said, any question.
You can overhear the officials making sure they've got all the rules straight.
Well, I think Gary didn't know his mic's on.
We have, George and I will have the goal line.
Well, anyway, what was Killen saying?
Well, what he was saying was that a lot of times, too, your defense can be fatigued, and, you know, you may want to consider that in the factor, but not really. The bottom line to it is you want to be on defense if you have a choice. Tonight, fatigue should not be a factor. The weather's cool. It's been a well-played game by both teams, and I'm, you know, just glad that it's going to end up in overtime. It's unfortunate, and I really mean that one of these two teams will come away with a loss, and it's an unfortunate fact of the game, but I'm glad there's a deciding factor.
I am too.
The old ties were, there we are. Hey, Mom.
Oh, there we go. Hey, where's Big Ron out there?
Ron's over there.
On this side. Well, see, I now look over there. He's over here. See, there you go. And you see the big head down the other end has got his hat on. That's Killen. That's the statistician. He's got a big head because he's got to do all his adding.
Bob, should I ask that question? Bob wants to know if we're on overtime pay.
Yeah, Scotty says, in your dreams.
That would be this is our second overtime game this year. The second one the Bruins been involved in.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Listen, Tim, we got to be thinking about a player of the game.
Oh, I've been thinking about it. Totally disregard his comment to us.
We won't even talk about it.
Player of the game. You know, this is a tough choice because you got a potential player of the game. But in the 48 minutes we've seen so far, I agree with what you're circling there.
Yeah. I think those two young men, especially on defense, because I think even though there's been a lot of points scored tonight, there's been some exceptional defensive played on both sides of the ball. We will talk about those a little later.
And in spite of the fact that McBride has 200 yards. Let's listen up now.
Okay, captains. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have a coin toss. As the visitors, Phoebus, you'll call the coin toss, call nice and loud in the air, okay?
Head.
Call the head. It is a head. You've won the toss. Your options are offense, defense, or which goal you want to defend. You want to go on defense first. Okay, you're going to get the ball. Which way do you want to go? You want to go that way. Okay, so you turn around this way. You won the toss. Bethel will go on defense first, this direction. I'll go on offense first. Yes, going this way.
All right, you've heard the decision now, and that was the right choice. Maurice Shanks, who I'm very glad to see, is apparently all right.
Yeah, I think he was just, I think, Tim, he might have had the wind knocked out of him a little bit. When he came down, his back hit real hard, and it was almost like the flat of your back, and it can kind of knock the wind out of you.
It will do it. It'll definitely do it. So we have the rules. Bob explained it very succinctly. They start at the 10-yard line, and now you may have overheard the referee and the other officials talking. If you intercept the ball, you can't run it 99 yards for a touchdown. It just means that the possession of the team that had the ball is over with.
Yeah.
So then,
and the same with the fumble.
Right. So if you recover a fumble or intercept a pass, that means the possession changes, and that's it. So the other team will then have their opportunity, and of course it's not sudden death. Each team will have an opportunity.
In the other playoff game that we had, if we remember correctly, Bethel had the ball second and fumbled it, and that's what caused the, if I'm not mistaken, and they turned the ball over and never had a chance to even put any points on the board. Isn't that what happened?
I can't remember that.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go from the 10. Boyd gets the handoff and gets to the 8. They have 4 downs, just like you would if you were 1st and 10. But if you don't get a score on those 4 downs, you give the ball over.
Right. But it was Kickoff who never got a chance.
Right, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I didn't mean Bethel. I meant Kickoff, because Bethel won that game in 3-0 with a field goal in overtime.
Exactly. Second down and goal.
Right. There we go. We're together.
In the backfield, 33 is Ryan Holloway, who's carried the ball several times tonight. Behind him is Boyd. Play action fake. In the end zone, no good, no flag.
That was a good defensive play, because number 5, I believe that's number 5, Mizell went up for the ball, but it was a nice bit of faking. Watch this, a nice bit of faking in the backfield. Look at that, all the time he had nobody really on him, but that had the ball been thrown lower, it probably would have been a touchdown, but it was just too high.
That was Jerry Brooks, 83, who was the intended receiver. So now the Bruins, this really gets into a strategy situation, because now if you end up with a 4th and goal, do you go for it or do you kick a field goal and force the other team to at least kick a field goal? So
I think you got to go. I think you got to come out with some points.
Lyles throws at the goal line, touchdown!
Oh man, just where he had to get it. What a nice throw by the.
I think that's 89. That's Copley.
Yeah, it was Copley.
Yeah, Clifton Copley, number 89, on the grab. So the Bruins are able to score, and of course the extra point will be extremely important as well.
And he was running for his life, but nice throw.
And it just got across the goal line. The ball came loose, but he had already scored with possession. Extra point try is good. So the Bruins have taken the 7-point lead in overtime, but now the Phantoms get the same opportunity.
They do. But now you've really put the pressure on them. I thought defensively the Phantoms did a great job. For the first 2 downs, the 3rd down, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but it's one of those times when that quarterback, young man Lyles, is just putting the ball right on the money.
I'm really impressed with his play tonight, and I know we've both decided to go with the defensive player of the game, but Joshua Lyles certainly has just been an outstanding quarterback tonight for these Bruins, and I see bigger and better things happening down the road for Bethel. All right, the Phantoms now with their opportunity. McWright gets the pitch. Flag is down, and he is also taken down at about the 7-yard line. But if this is a big penalty, you're looking at 1st and goal at, wherever the penalty takes it. This is not the time you need a holding call, which is what the call will be against the Phantoms.
And not only that, but it's a point of where the foul was committed. So you mean you go, but not for the 20, but you're going back to about the 22 or 21-yard line. So it's 10 yards from the point of the infraction.
Well, this makes it really tough on the Phantoms now. It's 1st and goal at the 22-yard line for all intents and purposes. They have to have a touchdown or the game will be over. 4 downs. Maurice Shanks goes in motion to the right. You got to think he's one of the prime targets. They throw it for the corner. Shanks runs underneath it. Touchdown!
Oh, my goodness. What a play and throw and catch.
You could see it coming. Maurice Shanks went in motion to the far side and just broke downfield. Same exact spot as the Copley man caught it for the Bruins. Here's your replay. Watch this. Mizell couldn't have thrown it any better. Look at that right there. Said, look, I'm going to throw it right at the pylon. Go there and you be there.
You be there.
Wow. So this all-important extra point now.
Yeah, you talk about big extra point.
This is it. If this one is good, then we'll try it again. Pavlik's kick is up. It's long enough, and it's good.
And we're going again. Now we'll go back to that flip of the coin. Whoa. I tell you, 2 great passes and 2 great catches.
Almost identical in their nature. Almost
well,
identical.
in the same part of the end zone.
Yeah. But that was really tough for the Phantoms because they had to do it from the 22-yard line.
And not from the 8.
No. All right, so that's round 1.
You feel this momentum going, oh, I'll be on this team for a while. No, I think I like this team. Mo is just moving back and forth.
Fans are standing on this side of the field, and a lot of them standing on the Phoebus side as they have been entertained royally tonight. Boy, you got your $4 worth if you came to this game. And
you not only that, Tim, but a great crowds make a game even better. And this crowd on both sides tonight are really making things. What do you do?
I don't have all the rules about this overtime thing, but I happened to hear something last week in an overtime college game I was watching. And did you know that in college, after the first 2 overtime periods, if you go to a 3rd overtime, when you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2.
Oh,
you know that?
I didn't know that.
I don't know whether that applies in high school or not.
We have 2 football scores for this evening from the Bethel district. In Gloucester, score was Hampton 44, Gloucester 30.
Wow. Warwick took Heritage to triple overtime before losing to Heritage 33-30.
He didn't pull it down.
Hampton defeated the once defeated previously Gloucester team by the score of 44-3 today. So Hampton remains unbeaten, and Gloucester did score a field goal.
But we're going to go play. We're going to play at the other end of the field.
Yes,
now.
we are.
And Bethel will again have the ball on offense first. Now, what's the brain trust at that end is saying?
The almighty prognosticator was talking before the game and was asked what he thought the score of the Hampton-Gloucester game be, and he said, well, it'd probably be a shutout, but if the Gloucester scores, it'll only be a touchdown, and the score was 44-3. A field goal. And he said they'd only have a field goal at the best, and that's what they got.
That's what they ended up with.
All right, so let's try it from the other end now. And now the Phantoms call a timeout as Shanks detected some problem with the defensive alignment, I'm assuming. And the Phantoms call a timeout, and they
but 10 people out there. They didn't have 11 people on the field, right? Heads up with Maurice Shanks. Tim, they were 1 man short.
And you obviously want to make sure you've got all the players out there, because this is that sudden, not sudden death, but this is overtime. You can't afford to let the other team score.
Well, you really can't, but you know, that's heads up by a high school player. He is one of the captains on the team to make sure that we got our full contingent out there to play on defense. Scotty's feeding Bobby some one-liners down there, isn't he?
I guess, yeah, that or Bob is just plain old delirious, which is entirely possible.
I was going to say, you're not too far off, are you?
All right, here we go. Time is not a factor here. 4 downs to score. The pitch to Boyd. Boyd racing for the corner. Will not get in, but he'll be inside the 5 at about the 2. So that's where that speed comes in.
It makes it a lot shorter when you get outside.
Bob had written down for me before the beginning of the first overtime. He said, had written down Boyd will score the touchdown. But he didn't get it in the first overtime, but he darn near got it that time. 2nd and goal. Ball is marked at the 3. Now the Bruins call timeout. We might be here till the cows come home, Bob.
Well.
Bob says nobody's left yet, and Andy says, well, we sure have.
Oh, Scotty sent back for some more tapes.
That's what he's done. He's called over to the school board to get some more tapes over here. This could be, here we could be here for a while. So the crowd still standing, at least most of them on the near side here. And a lot of the Phantoms the same across the way. And a lot of people had started to head to the parking lot. I don't know if you can pan down that way, Scotty, or not, but there's a tremendous number of people standing along the fence headed toward the exit thinking this one's going to be over with. But,
yeah, well, surprise, surprise. You better stick around.
Did we want to divulge our players of the game since we have, in fact, decided who they are?
Let's go ahead.
All right, for the Phantoms, it's going to be Maurice Lachlan. And again, tough choices on both sides here. And Brian Jordan.
Brandon. Yeah.
Brian or Brendan?
Brandon.
Who's Brian?
No, number 51, Brandon.
Touchdown. As we were debating the name, the Bruins score. I don't know how to do this, but I've got a Brian Jordan on my roster.
Well, you got 51?
No, 41.
I
thought it was 41.
Oh, it is 41. I'm sorry. You're right. Well, there you go. 41.
Right, here's the replay, and you saw it. The Bruins, again, have put the pressure on the Phantoms. They took 2 plays and scored the touchdown. Again, that all-important extra point. High snap. High snap. And it's no good. So the door has been left open here. The Phantoms have life still. Not
Yes,
that it was
do.
over with if the.
Well, they got to score the touchdown.
Right, they got to score the touchdown, and then they have to get the extra point. But a high snap from center. So now the Phantoms on offense. That's the score. Bruins 34, Phoebus 28. The Phantoms have to score a touchdown, and if they can do so and kick the extra point, they'll win the game.
Well, they may want to come back to the 22.
Yeah, gives them extra room. And the sack. Mizell, well, they're back close to the 22. They went back to the 14.
Ryan Holloway just crept up to the line of scrimmage. If we get that on replay, and you see he was doing nothing, but he's going to shoot the gap.
Maurice Shanks had gone down into the end zone on the pattern, but Mizell never had a chance to even look at him. Here's the replay.
Now watch the see him coming up there? Right, nobody touched him.
And he was untouched right to the quarterback. Second and goal from the 15. Shanks in motion. That was the same play, or at least the same alignment for the first touchdown. Throwing incomplete, threw it well behind Shanks. Not even close.
Miscommunication on where they were going that time, I think. Mizell thought Shanks was going one place, and Shanks thought he was going another. So
third and goal, second overtime from the 14. The Phantoms, needless to say, 4-down territory. Now Shanks sets up wide left. Mizell, play action. Wants to throw to the end zone. Does. Shanks cut it. Touchdown.
oh, wow.
Touchdown, Maurice Shanks, his second in overtime. Needless to say, if we could hand out a half a dozen players of the game, we'd have to do so. Now, the all-important extra point. If the Phantoms kick it, it's their game. If they don't, we'll go to overtime number 3. Paul Pavlik out of Leon Mizell's hold to win the game. Kick is up. It's long enough. It's good.
And that's the game. What a hard-fought game by both teams, and a heartbreaking loss to the Bethel Bruins.
Well, they've really got nothing to hang their heads about. They just absolutely played as well as I've seen the Bruins play in a long time. Here's the touchdown, the winning touchdown. Had plenty of time. The offensive line did the job, and Shanks got open at the goal line, and that's what it took.
Well, he looked that ball right into his hands that time.
So that is going to wrap up the game. Let me give you the final messages we have to give you. I want to tell you that tonight's broadcast was underwritten by the following: Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. By Zoom's Sitco with 5 Hampton locations.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
By your Allstate agents, Robert Mann and James Hudson. And in part by Wood Funeral Home, where Richard Pulley is the managing director. And in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Give them a call at 825-1416. Well, Maurice Shanks catches 2 passes for touchdowns to win the game, if you will. The extra point was the difference by Paul Pavlik.
And, you know, if somebody deserves a player of the game, there's another young man.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Punted the ball well, kicked the ball well.
We could give a player of the game to about half a dozen players tonight. So just a great game, and a really, it's a trite cliche to say, I hate to see anyone lose it, but in this case, it really is true.
Yep.
Both teams just played as well as they could, and the Bruins just came up 1 extra point short in overtime. Second overtime, the final score, Phoebus 35 and the Bruins 34. For Bob Hintz and Bob Killen and the entire Channel 46 crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.